speaking of Neil Rogers, he's coming up next. It's 10 o'clock. Have a great day, everybody.
The views expressed on the previous programs are those of the
not
host,
Jerk
guests,
Street
and
again.
callers, and do
Oh,
not
my
reflect
goodness.
those of the
Oh, my God.
staff, advertisers, or agencies.
Oh, my God.
Jerk Street.
The best.
How much he's on the payroll? That's why you guys can't get a
Listening to
raise.
Sports Radio
Your favorite.
560
Yeah, that's what I just heard.
WQAM. Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
It interrupted 3 hours of commercials, though. Is there any 2-minute period on the Joe Rose Show where there's not some commercial plug for somebody?
To talk to Neil, dial 567-0560 in Dade and Broward.
Come on, let's hear it.
In other counties,
No.
call toll-free 877-785-NEIL or pound 560 on your AT&T and Verizon wireless phones. The opinions expressed by Neil, his
George
guests,
ain't here
or
today,
his
by the way.
callers
If you're waiting
do
for George,
not represent those of
goodbye, 'cause George
WQAM
ain't here. He's
management,
screwing off
staff,
today.
or sponsors.
He's screwing somebody.
Now, the Neil Rogers Show
I think
on 560 WQAM.
Can't beat that gator meat.
Wait till you hear what they say. It's all next on Larry King Live. Our next guest was born a boy, but learned at a very young age that things weren't as they seemed. Clay Aiken is our special guest.
Do you think generally the gay life is more accepted?
Yeah, and I'm pretty good at hiding it, I think.
What? Come on.
Well, I don't really have too much control over that. I'm kind of
You get it in the mall in North Carolina, too?
I get it everywhere.
Now, let's take a call. Independence, Missouri. Hello.
Clay, I've been a fan for a long time. Could I see your package?
Yeah.
Hung. The big one.
It is.
That looks like that's E.T.
I have no idea how big it was.
Look at this. Go take a picture.
Can we get a close-up?
Yeah.
Whoa.
What's his name?
It's not E.T., it's Joe Zagacki, you idiot.
Joe Zagacki sucks, okay?
What's wrong with yous? 10:01 at 560 WQAM. It's really a shame that George is out pretending to be sick today, because I got a scratchy throat all night long. I couldn't breathe. I was, you know how it is when you're on the verge of getting your cold?
Yep.
And if I would have called in sick today, they'd have said, well, you took Friday off. See, Friday was my Jew holiday day off. That was set up days ahead of time. Am I right?
Sure.
You know, I don't take off on Yom Kippur, which is tomorrow night at sundown. I don't take off on Rosh Hashanah or any of the other Jew holidays. So every year I take one day, and that's my Yom Kippur. So that was Friday. That wasn't pretending to be sick. George, on the other hand, calls other people. He didn't send me any message.
No, he just called me. He called me like 20 minutes, like after 8 o'clock.
He called up Flea, who sounds like he's on helium. Well, not that much helium. And then he sent Fatso a message, Fat Chris.
Correct.
Did he call you or send you a message?
No, just send me a message.
Oh, I'm going to send the old man. I mean, he never sent me no message, and that's because I know he's screwing off today. Probably too much drugs again. Too much drugs and too much screwing around. Too much strange. Too much drugs and too much strange.
Maybe he went to go see Lieberman speak today.
Now, are you going to be talking like this the whole show?
I hope not.
You sound like Minnie Mouse on acid. I just don't know what your story is. I mean, I met you when I came down to Gulfstream, and you seemed like a real guy, but on the air you sound, I don't know. Doesn't he sound a little strange, Chris?
I mean, it sounds normal to me, but I mean, I talk to him every day.
Normal?
I'll try to butch you up.
Okay. What's your take on the O.J. conviction? That was our poll for yesterday, such as it was. 1,220 votes, not bad. Great, better late than never, 877. Fry that son of a bitch. 72% said great. Don't care, 226. They have O.J. burnout. O.J. got screwed, 93, which you can be sure that most of those votes came from inside this building and across the street. Maybe Screw Ann voted about 50 times. And who's O.J.? 24. Who's O.J.? Maybe it was O.J. McDuffie, do you think? Would be well-deserved in his case. Talk about a lunkhead. Oh, nevertheless, I heard Joe Rose sucking up to him. Was it today? Or I heard a whole 45 minutes of that crap because there was nobody there. And I'm waiting and waiting for George to show up. And finally, 9 o'clock, here's Fat Chris. And I said, well, what's the big story with your big meeting with Clarence yesterday? I'm sure the world is waiting on the edge of their seats to hear what it was. Well, it wasn't really any meeting.
Nothing.
Well, what does that mean, nothing?
I walked in, he said, all right, well, Beast already fessed up. He admitted he was an idiot, and there's...
Do you know how childish all of this is? How juvenile it is?
How?
Yes. It's like the kind of stuff that goes on in a kindergarten with a bunch of kids, you know, sitting in a sandbox with a pail and a shovel. Only in this case, there's a pail and a shovel, but it's not sand. Begins with an S. Yeah, and so...
And that was it. I just walked in there, and he's like, well, I need to hear anything from you. Beast already admitted to everything. He said he's going to apologize. And I said, yeah, I got an email. He's like, okay, well, he's like, then I guess what we got out of this is we have to communicate better. And that was pretty much it.
Oh. And you believe that?
Did I say I did?
You bought that from the Beast and his boyfriend, Clarence?
Oh, no, I haven't actually talked to the Beast.
Clarence, I'm an overgrown child, Darrow?
I was here all day yesterday, and Beast was here, too, but he never actually came over and said anything to me.
Now, Flea was telling me before the show that he worked for Jolly Joe Bell in, where was it, in Fort Myers?
Yeah, Fort Myers.
And was it the same circus, the same kindergarten there, or was it more like a radio station?
No, it was more like a radio station.
Oh. As opposed to this. As opposed to this. Okay, here's today's poll. See, he's not going to say anything because he doesn't want to give himself in the... He knows what happens to people that get on Joe's bad side. Like the Humper was telling me on Saturday. Indiana. McCain's got a 5-point lead in Indiana. Well, that figures. North Carolina is flat-foot tie. And one poll shows Obama 8 points ahead in Ohio. Woo! 8 points.
They'll fix that.
Yeah, they know how to do it in Ohio. They got a lot of practice. They'll get old Kenny Blackwell out there with the bad machine. New Hampshire, Obama 53, McCain 45. 8-point lead in New Hampshire, which was thought to be up for grabs. They're grabbing it. Big debate tonight. You guys going to be watching the debate? Not. North Carolina, flat-footed tie, 49 apiece in a real rednecky right-wing state. Boy, I'll tell you, old insane McCain's got real tourists. I wish they would hold the election like today. It's Tuesday. It's 4 weeks from today. A month from today is Election Day, and the day before my birthday, November 5. Wisconsin, Obama 51, McCain 46. 490 votes on our poll. What are you shooting for today, Fatso?
500.
He's learned his lesson well. Well, we got no George today. We got Flea sitting in, talking like a munchkin. 490 votes beside the Neil Rogers Show, and I didn't make this poll up, by the way. Some imaginative listener. Who sent this? LD. Good old LD. Thanks, LD.
Learning disabled?
Beside the Neil Rogers Show, what current South Florida institution will you miss most when it finally disappears? Publix is just destroying the competition. I don't think Publix is going to disappear in any of our lifetime.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere anytime.
Publix is great. 160 for Publix. Publix is great, and it's clean. I don't want to mention any other stores, but you know what I mean? Publix 160, The Florida Panthers NHL team 41. What a joke that is. I voted for that just because I thought I'd be the only vote. Not that I really care. It's so out of place. It would be like selling halava in Nome, Alaska. Maybe that's what Sarah can do after the election. She can open up a halava stand in Alaska. Museum of Science and Planetarium in Coconut Grove 40. Is Miss Horkheimer still with the planetarium?
I think he is.
The Dow started up 30, now it's down 56. I sure hope we don't have another bloodbath like yesterday. I want to preside over that. God. Pizza Loft 33, Seaquarium 30, Joe Stone Crabs 26, Winn-Dixie 20, the Bird Bowl 17, Bayside Marketplace 16, Dania and Miami High Life 16. Why they're lumped together, I have no idea, but LD, that's what he done. Calder Racetrack 13, Love 94 13. What does that mean? That's the only radio station that's on his list. Why Love 94?
I don't know, but I heard that was going away.
Is it?
That's the rumor.
Well, start some rumors, Flea. You got your antennae out all over the market. Start some rumors.
Yep, they said that one might be going away.
Oh, and Brian Schmutz is no longer with us, is what Flea told me, too. Brian Schmutz. Oh! A sales hole from hell. When he was here the first time, he actually sold my show. Then he got married, and he disappeared, and he went off somewhere else. I don't remember where the hell he went. Was it Cheap Channel or somewhere? And he came back and turned into a real a-hole, and now he's gone. And once they're gone, at this place... What?
Does that mean we have to cross out his eyes again on that big picture?
Yeah, that's right. Cross out his picture on that big thing on the wall. Who's left on there? Todd Dreck. I'm trying to remember it. You had Fat Boy on there, long gone, thank God.
You got Todd, you got Georgia Beasley.
Georgia Beasley is on that picture? I don't think so.
Oh, not on the picture, no.
What is wrong with you, man?
Yeah,
maybe now I know why you talk like a munchkin. Yeah. What?
He might actually be about the only one left on that picture.
Is Todd Dreck.
Yeah.
Who lives up to his name.
Oh, Petey.
Petey Lenny, he ain't with us no more. He's across the hall.
Oh, well,
and stay out of our studio, Petey Lenny, you maniac, you lunatic. Go Davin and Shoal. Do something constructive. Love 94-13. And Flea starts a rumor that they're on the way out. Ileana Rosanna Dana 10. Books and Books 10. The Parrot Jungle 10. The Festival Flea Market 9. Tony Cigaretto 9. Oh, yeah, he belongs in an institution. And Bob Mayer's got 8. Allen's Drugstore in South Miami, where they have those great banana splits and other fountain goodies, 7. That's a great place. It's Red. What is it? Red and Bird?
No idea.
Well, you live in Dade County. What are you? Some kind of a communist?
Yeah, that's Red and Bird.
Yeah, Red and Bird. Monkey Jungle 5 and Fagler Dog Track has got a pair out of the first 500 votes. See, we made 500. Now we can go home.
All right, see you later.
But you're missing a big one. What about the Marlins? When they don't get their stadium.
Pull up. Add it on there. The Florida Marlins. The Marlins. You got to say it right, like Joe says. The Marlins. And the Dolphins. The Dolphins and the Marlins. By the way, in case you're missing out on the sports stuff right now, there's 100 other stations doing sports in South Florida. So don't start throwing stuff at the radio. Oh, we thought this was sports radio. It's all. I heard Joe talking all sports, all sports, all sports. Did you hear that?
No.
I heard way too much of that show this morning because you came in at 9 o'clock and because George is screwing off today. I mean, I don't begrudge him an occasional day off because God only knows he fills the void for me like last Friday. But last Friday was my anti-religion day. What's his excuse today? He didn't even have an excuse, did he? Flea said he thinks George is screwing off today. Is that what you said?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, what a slacker. He's always called me, oh, you slacker, slacker. What's his excuse beside all the drugs and all the strange ass? Strange ass.
Best talent.
That's it.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader. No portion of this program may be reproduced without the express written permission of WQAM BZ Broadcast Group, Incorporated.
Sports Queer Radio is what the Q's for in QAM.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, sir. I'm with 560 WQAM. We'd like to know, are you a sport hole?
Yeah, damn right I am.
Oh, what's your opinion? I mean, what's your take on the recent changes at WQAM?
Well, I'm glad that old fag is gone, because I want to hear sports all day. You know, just real men talking all day about men. Now, I know they got that Cuban feller. He's filling in, but he talks too much about women, you know. He's a straight guy. But I want to hear other men ogle other men's firm butts and tight loins. Well, that's what sports is all about, buddy.
Give me all sports radio, where they ogle men all day. Give me all sports radio. I grab myself when I hear sports holes say, look how fast he can run. Look how fast he can jump. That's the kind of man I'd like to hum. Give me all sports radio for the manly man who likes men.
Oh, there's Sarah in Jacksonville, a perfect place. Some idiot sends me an email this morning. Oh, by the way, it's Neil at neilrogers.com for all your perspicacious emails. Well, quit picking on Sarah. You hate women, obviously, you fag. You hate women. Yeah, that must be the reason, huh? That's why most women with a brain larger than their pinky, they hate her, too. But beside that, they love her in Jacksonville, though.
Optimistic vision.
Oh, yeah, she's doing it. Sarah the Nazi lady. She'd make Ava Brown very proud, I'll guarantee you that. Here's a fax. It says, is Matt Roth of the Miami Dolphins related in any way to Hyman Roth of Godfather fame? What do you think?
I would say no.
I think if Matt goes like that every now and then, he probably inherited it from Hyman. Meyer Lansky. Boy, I tell you one thing, Miami sure ain't the same since Meyer Lansky croaked. That's long before your time, Flea. We used to have Meyer Lansky in on the beach. Meyer Lansky, the mafia. You don't know Meyer Lansky?
Nope.
What kind of a Jew are you, anyway?
Very bad one.
You don't know your Jewish mobsters?
I don't know my Jewish holidays. I don't know anything.
How about tomorrow night at sundown? You're going to be fasting for Yom Kippur?
If by fasting you mean eating a lot?
Yes. Several bacon cheeseburgers.
Exactly.
Maybe some of those Mickey D's anus burgers with bacon and cheddar. Boy, too bad you guys can't have those. They're great. I don't want to make you feel bad about it, but too bad.
Uh-huh.
They're great. I'm telling you now,
I'm not saying
man.
they're not. You know, you're just rubbing it in.
They're outstanding. It's by far and away the best thing that they've ever offered the pubic. Anus burger with bacon and cheddar, man, and on that pastry bun. Is that what they call it? A pastry? Some funky kind of bun. It's good. Now for the list. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of additions to this poll today. Which institution in South Florida will you miss most once it's gone? Because once it's gone, it don't come back. How about Shorty's Barbecue and Frankie's Pizza?
Hey,
I would go.
Shorty's is a good one.
Yeah, Shorty's Barbecue is a good one. Frankie's Pizza, I don't even know what that is. Do you know where that is?
Nope.
Never heard of it.
Did you ever hear of it, Flea?
No, I've never heard of that.
No, so then forget that. But Shorty's Barbecue, of course, they built the whole metro rail so people could go to Shorty's.
Exactly.
They spent $1 billion of taxpayer money so that everybody could go to Shorty's. Or to Hialeah, which nobody wants to go to Hialeah, so. Oh, and also, Hank and I were discussing that thing. Remember last week I had the article about the casino gambling? They want the full casino when they're starting a campaign again and yada, yada, yada. And the Fontainebleau is one of the places that have enough hotel rooms on the beach. And also they're talking Hialeah Racetrack as a site for a casino. Anybody want to go to Hialeah?
No.
Oh, my God.
I went there for 3 years. That was enough.
Thank you, by the way, John Brunetti, for what you did to Hialeah Racetrack. Oh, my God. Even the flamingos flew away. They couldn't stand him no more. Once they put in the green weenies, you know, it was one thing when Bob Prince had the green weenies in Pittsburgh or for the Pirates. You know, it was a gimmick. It was great. But green weenies at the hot dog stand? Sorry, mister. I know one thing. If I see a green weenie, I scream and run the other way. Got a new radio station coming in South Florida. Now, how come you aren't on top of this, Flea?
I missed that one.
Salem Media, which I never heard of them. Did you ever hear of them?
No, I have not.
Gets its newest radio station, WZAB 880, The Biz, an all-business station.
It should beat us.
What?
It should beat us.
Do you hear what he just said?
Yeah.
This is our promotions guy. This is Jolly Joe Bell's close personal asset. Or ass wipe. Well, what do you mean it should beat us? Why is that? Are you knocking QAM?
We could get better.
Oh, woo! The Biz adds to Salem's Miami roster of stations that includes WMCU 1080 AM, which I never heard of, and WKAT 1360 AM, all Dominican Republic melodies all day long. Joe D. Davis, president of Salem's radio division, states, encouraged by the success of our business formatted KDOW in San Francisco, we identified Miami as another market where we expect this increasingly popular format to be successful. Everyone is concerned about their jobs, their money, and their future. What job and what money?
Schools for children in Afghanistan.
This dynamic body of timely content speaks to those concerns and provides huge opportunity for advertisers and for the Miami Metro. Oh, what a lunatic. Tony I can never say this guy's name. Calatayud. Is that his name?
Sure.
No, we've heard his name before. He's a radio drifter. General manager adds, we are thrilled on commencing the only business station in South Florida. In this day and age, financial news affects all people of all walks in a direct fashion. Information in these challenging times is key, and nobody else on the radio dial will be able to keep South Florida better informed than the Biz. They're going to give us the business. 8:80 a.m. Doesn't say when they start. Just says Salem Media starts a new radio station. Just what we need is about another 15, 20 radio stations. Wouldn't that be good on the AM dial? Mm-hmm. So that every 5 kilocycles, there's another station. 770, 775, 780, 70, like that. So that they all bleed over onto each other. But, of course, when they're all each like 250 watts, like the light bulb. Here's one from, and I neglected to mention this yesterday. Sorry, I just couldn't let this pass, but if you heard that clip that CNN, MSNBC, Fox keep playing where McCain's commenting on his running mate, hey, what about Sarah last night, huh? Huh? Have you seen that clip? Where he keeps going,
I haven't,
No.
If you play the sound back with McCain's voice and then play a soundtrack from Mars Attacks, I swear you can't tell McCain's voice from the Martians, it says. P.S. FYI, I'm in Hollywood, East Side, where all the frogs migrate in the wintertime. Yeah, that's quite a clip. Where, how about Sarah last night? Huh? Like a crazy person, which, of course, he is. Rhymes with insane. McCain. How are we doing on Fat Chris's poll here?
5:31.
Could you give me a second to get on there? I wasn't asking you.
Oh, okay.
5:30. I only got 5:30.
You're behind the times, brother.
5:31, like I said. Shorty's got a vote. Marlin's got 4 votes. The Marlins. See, the Panthers are in second place on here because they know that it won't be too long and they'll be long gone.
But will they really be missed, though?
Can't complain about the interest in the Panthers because there isn't any. Look at these yahoos standing behind Sarah. They're in Jacksonville. She's holding a rally in Jacksonville. All them good old rednecks are. Look at that trailer trash bitch standing behind Sarah. And like I said, look at that trailer trash bitch standing behind the trailer trash. God. What are these? Oh, it's just nauseating. Oh, that's right. You hate women. That must be it. You hate women. Give Sarah a chance. Quit picking on poor Sarah. That's right. She's a hockey mom from Alaska. She is dangerous is what she is. And they're going to use her to do the old smear and schmear. What the last act of desperation is when they pull out this smear and schmear heavy duty. And that's what they're doing now. Oh, let's change the subject. We don't want to talk about the economy because McCain don't even understand that. He don't know what it's all about. And by the way, here's the latest poll stuff. You want to hear our poll stuff?
Sure.
You don't care. All you care about is that the beast is an a-hole.
Huh?
That's all you care about is you want to get his fat ass fired.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
If Clarence came to you right now and said, which of course it's silly, he wouldn't do it. Should I fire the beast over what he did to you this weekend with the Don Bailey Jr.? You'd say, you bet. Fire his fat ass right now.
First I'd say, well, do I get the money he makes?
That's right. Oh, I'm sure he's making more than you are.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because his fat head is up the right ass, so yours is not.
My bad.
Just have to hold your breath and stick your head all the way in there, all the way up to your neck, right up Clarence's ass, although it's getting mighty crowded.
No, thank you.
Here's the schedule for today, by the way. The Big O, who Hank says this shouldn't be, and also Flea was ripping Big O before the show today. 2 to 4 this afternoon, the Big O.
Rock solid.
Flea said just an abortion.
Yes.
Isn't that what you said?
Yes.
Jim Mandich at Circuit City, 4 to 7.
With Dan Marino.
What?
With Dan Marino.
Haven't we had enough of Danny Boy already?
Never can.
You can never get enough Marino.
Oh. Take a couple of years off, Danny. Okay, just go away. Go in a broom closet for a couple of years. Give us a rest. Dolphins tonight, 7 to 8. The DA show, 8 to 9. No, that's 8 to 11. That was when we were going to have the Dodgers and Cubs. How about those Cubbies, huh? Roll up that bandwagon.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
The biggest names.
The best talent.
It's the Big Dog, Joe Rose.
Weekday morning, 7 to 10.
All
Sports
right.
Radio 560 QAM. The sports
Leader.
No, good.
George Michael screwed up again.
You fairy.
Arrested for pot and cocaine. The bearded freak has lost his brains. He's always on the party train. If not drugs, then it is men who he pays to do dirty things in bathroom stalls with ding-a-lings. That's the way that he swings.
You fairy.
He can't help himself, 'cause despite his wealth, he acts like a thug out on the streets. Wants us to forgive. He's self-destructive. He smokes more marijuana than a whole damn Navy fleet. And it happened once again. He could wind up in the pen. He'll be surrounded by men. He could go away for 5 to 10. Georgie, you're popping your clonazepam, followed by 2 diazepam, just like when you were in Wham. Georgie just keeps firing up his bong, even though he knows it is wrong, just like his polka dotted thong. Always in trouble, the guy with stubble. If he's not careful, he'll wind up dead. He needs a brother or one good lover to keep him off the junk, so he is not a big cokehead. But he fires up his bong, even though he knows it's wrong, just like his polka dotted thong. That's the end of our song.
Good. It's 10:32 at 560 WQAM. So the Big O is taking a lot of heat from everybody. Hank said that he's an abortive, just horrendous, and doesn't belong on the air once. Flea went way beyond that. I mean, I can't even repeat the things on the air Flea said about that show. What?
No, nothing.
You said it, right?
Absolutely.
Well, there you go. See, one thing about Flea, man, he doesn't pull his punches. He doesn't rip somebody in the ass off the ear, and then when I out the comments on the ear, like, back away from it, like George does all the time. Now, Chris is aware of that. George does that all the time, right?
Occasionally.
Then they claim that I put words in his mouth. Oh,
well, you do that.
Well, I enjoy that because he gets very defensive and psychotic about it. Brings me great pleasure and joy. Brian asks, dead or alive? And an email here that's worthy of wiping my ass with. Ernie Sochin. Ernie's still alive and looking for his socks, I believe. Cray Worthing, still alive. Fat Rich, very much still dead. Lee Fowler, very, very dead. Not even lukewarm. Greg Budell, alive, but might as well be dead. Don Cox, still dead. Bill Tanner, alive. Ron St. John, alive, I believe. And Greg Fadick, alive. He's still alive. I mean, what kind of a list of people is that? I don't... And how did Fat Rich make that list? I guess what Brian is trying to say is...
I have no line.
Yeah, that's obvious. 542 votes on Fat Chris's poll. He's pretty pumped about it. Beside the Neil Rogers Show, what current South Florida institution will you miss most when it finally disappears? Publix, 172. Florida Panthers, 43. The Panthers. Ow! Museum of Science and Planetarium in the Grove, 42. The Pizza Loft, 34. Seaquarium, 32. Joe Stonecrabs, 29. Winn-Dixie, 21. Highline, Dania and Miami, 18. Bird Bowl, 17. Bayside Marketplace, 17. Calder Racetrack, 14. Love 94, 14. And Flea said it's on the way out. What's going to replace it?
I haven't heard that much yet.
Well, who do you hear that from?
People within the Clear Channel building.
Oh, in the Cheap Channel building. Oh, well, it's going to be some really cheap format then.
Yeah, I used to work there.
Did you really?
Yeah, I worked for Zeta for like 3 years.
Oh, I worked for Zeta for 1 year. In its glory day, in its glory year. And then they brought Tim Williams in there. I have an email here from the fake Timmy. I'd rather be a safe number 3 Williams. That's cute. You ever meet Tim Williams?
No, I have not.
A moron. Imbecile. Eliana Rosanna Dana Layton in 11. Books and Books 11. The Festival Flea Market 10. Bob Mayer 10. Little Bobby. They ran out of phone books at Channel 6, 4, whatever it is now, and Bobby disappeared. You do realize that they used to prop him up on phone books?
Did not know that.
He's about 2 feet tall, Bobby. Here's a munchkin like Flea. Parrot Jungle 10. Tony Cigaretto 9. A silly sports nerd trying to be a newsman. Boy, I'll tell you, Tony, you have just made such an ass out of yourself all these years. And talk about aging badly. I don't know how old Tony is, but I look better than he does. You know what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
My face isn't like all wrinkled and my head falling apart. Like Tony looks like his head has been through a wood chipper. Allen's Drugstore in South Miami, legendary 7. At IOD, they brought us in banana splits. They made banana splits while we were on the air at IOD. See, if George were here today, we could reminisce about that. But George is screwing off today. Too many bad drugs. Monkey Jungle 7. Maybe his kid is sick or something like that. Or maybe the wife, the kid, the dog, the house, the dope. Florida Marlins have got 5. They got that new stadium coming at your expense, folks. I hope you're all real happy. Every day is Yom Kippur when you're playing for the Marlins. Flagler Dog Track 3 and Shorty's Barbecue's got a pair. Should be doing better than that when they built $1 billion metro rail just to keep people going to Shorty's. Why do you think they've been in business all this time? The Metro fail. Last time I was in town, I checked out the Metro rail. There was nobody riding the trains. It just kept zipping back and forth. There was nobody on it, though. Bavarian Village has closed, according to Brandon, and, bring him on. It says there's a few things he didn't know was closed. Lums. The last remaining Lums on Davie Road Extension is also gone, he says. Now, that's a shame. So we can't put that on there because it's already gone. And once it's gone, it's not coming back. Lums. See, George isn't here today, so we can reminisce about some of these because he gets all bent out of shape when I do that kind of a show. Am I right, Chris?
Yep.
Oh, living in the past. These things are before most of our listeners were born. Well, that's back when we had younger demos, George. Now it's perfect. Our demos are Death plus 10. Now that they took the show away, and we can't even do a little chuckle on the air. Oh, no, Joyce won't like that. Well, since you worked over on the West Coast, did you ever have any dealings with Joyce? I guess that was, you were there before her time, right?
Yeah, I don't know Joyce. I actually worked at the station before Beasley bought it, and then Beasley bought it.
Oh, now I understand. So how did Jolly Joe Bell get involved with Beasley?
Well, he came in from, I guess, North Carolina after Beasley bought the station.
Oh, nothing could have been finer than to keep him in Carolina. And is that when it started going in the toilet when they brought him in?
No, actually, we were number 1, 18-34.
Wow. But like you said before, he didn't know squat about the format, so he kept his nose out of it. Oh, that's right. I shouldn't have repeated that on the air.
That's okay. It was alternative rock, which he didn't really know about, and I did, so it worked.
Well, then why did they bring him in? Because it's the Beasleys? It's the Beasley effing way? Is that it?
He's a good money man.
Aha. A good money man. That's right. Cut everybody's salary by 90%, fire half the staff. And look at that. We're making money. We got no numbers left. We got no audience. But, boy, look at that. Looky, looky, looky. Here comes Cookie. Ranieri used to say that, and I still don't know why. Timmy Williams, a fake Timmy Williams, says, I will miss green-toothed Julio's lying down in the middle of the road every time a Cuban gets a speeding ticket and every time a black person isn't sent back to Haiti, even if they're not Haitian. And it's signed, Timmy, I'd rather be a safe number 3, Williams. Can you imagine a general manager of a radio station who just happened to be the son-in-law of the owner at INZ, sitting me down and saying, I'd rather be a safe number 3, Neil, than being number 1. It's too risky being number 1. Can you imagine that?
No, that's crazy talk.
That's Tim Williams, man. And then on IOD, when I went over there and I started ripping him on the air, he would call up Disney. Oh, call him off. Tell him to stop ripping me. My kids listen to the show and they go to school and other kids are ripping them an ass. Too bad. You're a moron, Tim. An imbecile. Rather be a safe number 3. How about a safe number 35? That sounds really good. And when's the last time, by the way, that Zeta was number 3? Well, in fact, Zeta don't even... What is it now?
Now it's Mega.
What is it?
Mega 94.9.
Smega. Oh, yeah. Smegma Radio. Yeah. I smelled it all the way up here.
Line gloves. The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Okay. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
The biggest names. The best talent. It's the Mad Dog, Jim Mandich. Afternoons, 4 to 7. Sports Radio 560 QAM. The sports leader.
You're a bastard.
On the streets of heavily Jewish Miami Beach, Lansky became an elder statesman, a living legend.
The most pious Jews in the world in Miami Beach, who are the holiest people to whom God is everything. Even God wasn't close to Meyer Lansky. As soon as they saw Meyer Lansky, forget about God. This was God. They used to worship him, follow him, look at him. If he walked down the street, they would talk about how slow he walked, how fast. Did he have a dog, a cow, a horse? Did he sit down, get up? What time?
One time we're in this little deli down in Miami Beach, and these two young boys came up with yarmulkes on, and they were kind of looking at my grandpa, and I was kind of standing in the background, and they came up and said, Mr. Lansky, we'd like to get your autograph. And he kind of looks at him seriously, and my grandpa, he goes, what did I do, an Academy Award? And I said, well, we figured it'd be worth some money someday, Mr. Lansky. And he said, no, son, I don't sign autographs.
Oh, excuse me. I played that for Flea's benefit because he doesn't know who Meyer Lansky was.
Now it's come back to me.
Yeah, you're full of crap. How could anybody over the age of 10 not know who Meyer Lansky was?
And I even interviewed Mario Puzo.
Yeah. And you watched Godfather 2?
Absolutely.
And who do you think Hyman Roth was patterned after? Who was that character supposed to be?
I'm guessing him.
Who was in the casino business in Havana? The hotel's here. Yeah, but nevertheless, see, you learn something every day. Hyman Roth, my ass. Here's somebody who doesn't understand the poll, I guess. Now, the ground round is long gone, I'm assuming, right?
I have no idea.
I Googled it. It's in somewhere, Toledo or someplace like that. And it's a franchise, but a chain. But the ground round in Miami, I believe, is long gone. It says, good morning, Neil. I remember this place as a kid. Rob in Lauderdale. Rob, the question isn't, we've done that a million times. What restaurant that's long gone do you miss? The question is, what current institution will you miss when it disappears? You got it, Rob? Now, I could be wrong about that. The ground round, I think, is long gone. The ground round. Couple of, They all want to know, did I see Keith Olbermann last night? It was great. Yes, I did see it, and it was great, and his comment about Sarah Palin at the end was great, too. It was sensational. Nice going, Keith. Eddie in Miami. Eddie says, Frankie's Pizza's been around. Now, who was that on the bat line? You didn't grab it in time?
No, I went to pick it up, and I think it was Pizza Loft guy, Jeff Cohn.
What does he want?
To say hello. He had called another thing. I'm like, dude, you're calling on the line. He's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Oh,
What?
It's ringing again.
Oh, grab it.
You don't want it?
I'll grab it. Bat line, hello.
Neil, I'll miss
You're
the
right.
pizza
You're
off
right.
when it
You're
disappears.
right. You're right. It's the
You
left
know?
in the zone. What?
And WIOD, when you used to make
Are
me
you?
go and get
Can you
me
hear
fried
me?
food.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Then why do you keep talking when I start saying something?
Oh, I didn't hear you talking.
No, because you don't shut up. God. Ba, 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 ba. You hung around. You gave Rimmer too many free meals. That's your problem.
I was just excited to talk to you again, so you know.
I'll bet.
I couldn't stop. But do you remember the young guy soup from the Thai place?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would be on the other side of town, and you would call and make me go there, get it, and bring it to you.
I didn't make you do anything. Don't give me this song that is I made you go there. You went and got it because you were busy sucking around to promote your business, which worked out very well.
Exactly.
Well, good. See, at least you admit it.
It sounded better the other way.
Yeah. So how's things?
Pretty good. Working hard. Got to work a lot more hours than I used to make up for the economy. We still do our business and all that, but, I'm working a lot more hours to make it happen.
I bet you since the Rimmers moved to Columbus, you're making a lot more profit.
That's true. That's true. He used to call once in a while when he was in town, and lately I have not heard a word.
Oh, kiss the ground, man. Are you lucky? You're the lucky one.
All right. Well, how about those Dolphins, man? I mean, is
nice
that
hearing from you,
unbelievable?
Ponytail.
What's that?
I said, have a great day.
You too, dude.
Zygazont.
Happy New Year. Easy
Same to you.
fast.
See ya. See ya.
Easy fast.
See ya. Fast my ass. Okay, Eddie in Miami says, Frankie's Pizza's been around since the 50s on Bird Road, approximately Southwest 92nd Avenue. Their pizza is made in small square slices and is very good. It's a Miami original, very close to Arbiter's hot dogs. Whoa. I don't think I ever had an Arbiter hot dog. Did you?
I think so, yeah.
You did? Well, of course, if it's in the food line, as they say, then you've had it. I bet your Flea never had Arbiter's. Probably never heard of it either.
Never heard of it, never
Anybody
had
who
it.
never heard of Meyer Lansky sure as hell never heard of Arbiter's. Now, where are you from originally?
Tampa.
Oh, my God. Talk about a Goyish paradise.
Him and Cordes get together on Sundays and watch the Tampa Bay Bucks holding hands.
Oh, tell him I'm going to send his check out one of these days, very soon.
I'll tell you not sending the check out? Okay.
No, I didn't say that. It's just that I never think about it. Like today at 2 o'clock, I got to run out of here because I'm going with my cabbie today. Yesterday I drove to Woodbine. Made a little profit yesterday. I'm not going to tell you how much.
You're evading taxes, Roger.
Yeah, right. What a joke. These people with no lives out there really
I have no life.
crack me up. At any rate, what was I about to say? Oh, I got a busy schedule, man. Busy schedule, so I don't have time to... maybe tonight when I get back with all those millions of dollars I'm going to win today, maybe I'll sit down and write a check. Tell when you see Cordes, tell him, get a check, get a check.
Right,
it's coming from... Joe D'Aggiola's going to send it to him. Chronic Ralph says, did you happen to see the special commentary on Keith Olbermann? Yes, I did. I just got through saying that, Chronic Ralph. Did you see that? Yeah, it was great. And then somebody suggested I should play it on the air. No, I don't have... First of all, I didn't tape it. And if you want Keith Olbermann's special commentary, you can find it online, number one. And number two, watch his show. Countdown, 8 to 9, 10 to 11, 1 to 2 in the morning. It's on about 100 times a night. And then that bitch is on with the pasty face, Rachel. I don't care, all you people that are trying to push her on me and on anybody else, she's horrible. She is a weak Keith Olbermann wannabe. She's like an appendage. Somebody tell that dyke to put on just a little... I mean, is it a dyke thing that they have to look as grotesque as they can? I mean, she's not an ugly person, whatever she is. But she doesn't make her... Wouldn't the people in makeup look at her and say, boy, you look very pasty and plain, like Plain Jane. You look like a dyke. I think the same with Fat Rosie O'Donnell, although I guess there's no way to doll her ass up, you know? She's, no matter what they stick on her, that she's going to look like, maybe a paper sack would be good.
I think she's getting a new show again, I think.
Who, Rosie?
I think so.
Oh, my God. Are you schmitting me?
She was on the news again the other day, and I couldn't flip fast enough before they started talking about her.
You know, she reminds me of Bill Maher. Because most of what she says, I agree with 100%. Most of it. Same with Bill Maher. And they both just make me sick to my stomach. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wish that somebody, like, somewhat human would be saying those things as opposed to her. And Bill Maher, he's just a twerp who laughs at his own material. He is so full of himself, man, and full of something else, too. So Clem says... Oh... Wait till you see Clem's phony last name. Can I spell
I know
it for you?
No, you can't.
You know what it is? How do you know?
Because when Suds is on, he calls. He's one of the old Rick and Suds people, apparently.
Well, what does that mean? So how do you know what his last name is?
Because they've hinted at it on the air. So, and then when I answer the phone, he's like, "Hey, this is Clem." I'm like, "Okay, just make sure you don't say that last name." He's like, "Oh, no, I know."
That's not his last name.
I know, but that's what he goes by.
Clem, Tyrephu. Well, I'm not going to read the rest.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says pizza is at 91st Avenue and Bird Road. Frankie's about 2 blocks east of Bird Bowl. Billed as the world's finest Italian pizza, Frankie's has been serving freshly baked pizza to thousands of loyal customers for 50 years. Frankie's, named after its founder, Frank B. Pasquarella, is by far Miami's oldest pizza shop. Wow. And what's the place that used to bring us the pizza at IOD, George? Oh, that's right. George ain't here today. In Miami on 79th Street, which... I'm
sure he's listening. He'll chime in on it.
No, he will not. He's not listening, and he will not chime in. He's out getting laid or something, or doing the drugs. He's crawling around on his hands and knees on the floor, puking his guts out again. You know, he's a good one to make fun of what's his name?
Who?
His friendly Hispanic board op. Hola.
Carlos?
Carlos. Freaky Carlos. No, not freaky. Unfreaky Carlos. He's a good one to make fun of him. Crawling around on the floor, foaming at the mouth, puking their guts out. All these druggies, man. Drugs.
Now, that's the one that
that's the one he found under the overpass. What?
And Pharrell was here for that one, and he started freaking out or something like that, trying to give him mouth-to-mouth or something?
I don't know. Maybe he just liked him. I don't know. 584 votes on the poll, and Fat Chris has set a goal, 750 for today, 587. Fagler Dog Track's got 3. The Elbow Room, which we didn't even mention, that's got 6. Is the Elbow Room still there? I think it's gone.
Still there.
Still there?
Yep.
In Fort Lauderdale?
C.
The Elbow Room. Oh, I'll tell you another place that's like legendary, which Norma Kent and all the other queens eat there all the time. What's the restaurant there on Las Olas? The breakfast place.
No idea.
Oh, come on. Are you crazy?
I don't live in the Fort Lauderdale area, so you know.
Of course, Flea, that leaves him out because he's a newcomer. He don't even know Meyer Lansky. Do you know how embarrassing that is?
I feel ashamed.
That would be like saying, oh, Abe Lincoln, who's that? You know.
Who?
And especially being Jewish.
He's not a total Jew, though.
Who,
he was actually
Flea?
here. He was the only Jew in the building the other day.
Let me tell you this. If he was a real Jew, Joe Bell sure as hell wouldn't have brought him in.
Oh, you got a point there.
Hank and I were talking about that Saturday. About, like, the first 11 people that got tossed out of there when Joe Bell came in. All Jews. All Jews. And then when he started burning the cross on the front lawn, I thought that was just a little bit over the top. You know, I could be wrong, but... A little carried away there, Jolly Joe, you fat ass, you fool. Now, what's the name of that place I'm thinking of? Somebody will send me an email right away. It's like a diner. It's a famous breakfast place where all the queens eat in Fort Lauderdale on Las Olas. You don't know?
I have no idea.
Norma Kent can be seen there eating and greeting.
So why don't you send him a text and ask him?
And chasing runaways. What?
Why don't you send him a text and ask him?
Lehman Brothers CEO attacked the gym and knocked out cold. Good.
Wow.
Former Lehman CEO Richard Fuld was attacked and knocked out while on the treadmill the day after announcing Lehman had gone bust. That's a great story. From 2 very senior sources, one incredibly senior source, then he went to the gym after Lehman was announced as going under. He was on a treadmill with a heart monitor on. Someone was in the corner pumping iron, walked over and knocked him out cold. And frankly, after having watched this, I'd have done the same too, says whoever wrote this. It's about time these corporate thugs suffered some kind of punishment for running their companies into the ground at taxpayer expense, then walking away with millions. Excellent. Anybody tell me the name of the place? Oh, Flores. Thank you so much. Flores, of course. Oh, Clem again. Tire man. Thank you, Clem. He's okay in my book, Clem. He's got a funky name. What's the name of the place in Fort Lauderdale?
I don't know.
I don't see it. Oh, here's something about Gloves 94. I wonder if the Bird's favorite person, Irene Richards, is going to shed a tear about Gloves 94 going away. Since Greg Budell is still alive, maybe he'll give you a call to talk about the old days. I hope not. My favorite show the Bird ever did was when he had Budell, Don Cox, and Bill Tanner in the studio. This was at IOD when you were on vacation. I believe Johnny Dark said it on the show. I love the stories they had to tell. I'm sure Tanner held back a few, I would imagine.
Biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
The biggest names, the best talent.
Are you sure?
You're listening to Sports Radio 560 WQAM. Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. Your brain. Any questions?
Coming up on the Aleph Bet Gimel Network, it's the end-of-the-year spectacular that everyone's stressing about. Dick Clark's Hebrew New Year's Rockin' Eve. Say goodbye to 5768 and help blow the shofar off of 5769 with a cast of Jewish stars, featuring the Borscht Belt comedy stylings of Jerry Seinfeld.
What is the deal with Rosh Hashanah? What's the rush? And who's this chick? Hashanah.
Sarah Silverman.
What? Amy Winehouse isn't Jewish? Someone should tell her face. Look at my...
The Beastie Boys.
So Russia, Hashanah!
Plus David Schwimmer, Lenny Kravitz, Andy Samberg, Winona Ryder, and Adam Sandler.
Not a Jewish Richard Gere. It's the Jewish New Year.
Dick Clark's Hebrew New Year's Rockin' Eve. It's going to blow your tuchus off. What, are you going to watch something else?
11:01 at 560. It's going to blow your tuchus off, he said. Tuchus. You can always tell the goyim when they say tuchus. Took us, just like Jolly Joe Bell, took us from the heights of glory to the depths of despair. That's Jolly Joe. That's what Flea said. Well, no, Flea said we could do better. So 8,000 emails about, and half of them were wrong. Half of them said I was thinking of Lester's Diner.
Okay.
Although that belongs on there. Lester's Diner sure belongs on there, but it was the Floridian. You guys never heard of the Floridian?
No.
Flea?
Nope, never heard of it.
Legendary. Well, get them both on there, please. On our World Flaming Pool. Lester's Diner. And the people who said Lester's Diner, it's Lester's Diner. That's it. No, it's not. But nevertheless, could have been. But do you think that the Queens hang out at Lester's Diner?
No.
I don't know. Haven't been there in a long time. A long time. Sal says, got back from Asia a month ago. Just wanted to let you know Sizzler and Shakey's Pizza are very big there. Also, can you get the tape where a student asked McCain, no I can't, that he's got a good chance of dying in office, and he got all upset as a grouchy old man that he is? Oh, he'll be dead soon, I would think. He's got, his 80 cancers and all his other, plus his grumpiness, Now, this is from Cecilia. She says, here's a poll suggestion, which you can paraphrase any way you want, of course. Well, thanks, Cecilia. What is the most embarrassing thing that can happen to you? A, pooping your pants and having no place to run and or hide while it runs down your leg. B, audibly ripping a tremendous and stinky fart in a quiet room full of people, especially if Joyce is in there. Can you imagine that?
I think that would be great.
C, peeing in your pants and having no place to run and or hide while it runs down your leg. D, being caught masturbating by one or both of your parents. E, being caught with weird porn, animal, gay, Japanese, fecal fetish, etc. Fecal fetish. F, getting your period and messing up your pants in someone's couch. G, whatever else you come up with. While I'm here, I would like to ask why a grown man who sounds like a 7-year-old boy is allowed on the radio to talk about ball games. I feel embarrassed for that fool, and I've seen him in person, and what a grotesque individual he is. He has no business being on the air in any market, let alone one with more than 30 people
About 30, man.
listening. I'm, of course, referring to the big O. His baby talk Spanglish is absolutely asinine. I shut him off as soon as I hear his ridiculous voice, but the fact that he's allowed to be on the air is enough to drive me bananas. Thanks for your time. If you want to make fun of my poll suggestion on the air, it's fine. I can take it. Love you, Neil Cecilia. No, it's a good poll. Don't you think that's a decent poll?
I like that one.
Yeah, what's not to like? Especially the stinky fart in a room full of Joyces. Let's see. Lester's is great, says Brandon. That's true. Lester's is great. 6:05 on your poll.
6:07.
6:07. Boy, we are smoking it today, man. George thinks he's doing it. Oh, Wisconsin, Obama 51, McCain 46. We already said that. You know, it's CNN. They just keep showing the same crap over. The Dow is up 7 points, by the way. The Nasdaq's down 6.5. For those of you who are in the panic has subsided for the moment. New Hampshire, Obama with an 8-point lead. Come on, keep them running. Keep them rolling. Keep them rolling. We can read faster than that. Keep them rolling, please. Oh, and that's it. That's all he's going to show us, this idiot.
Democrats since it voted for Jimmy Carter back in 1976. Look at this. Even up at 49-49.
North Carolina.
Now, why is this so significant? Well,
Why?
let's take a look at the results of the 2004 election. First of all, in the state of Wisconsin, John Kerry beat President Bush by 1 percentage point, 50 to 49%. Barack Obama now up by 5 points. Here in the Granite State, the state of New Hampshire, again by 1 point, 50 to 49. Barack Obama now ahead by 8 points, so widening that margin. But this is what's really significant. Take a look at this. State of North Carolina, 2004, President Bush beat John Kerry by 12 points. That state is now even up. So that is a pretty dramatic change, 2008, compared to what was happening in 2004. So what does it all mean in terms of the Electoral College?
Yeah,
now?
what's it all mean, you idiot?
Are going to change from toss-up now to lean Democrat. First one is Wisconsin. That will give Barack Obama 260 electoral votes to John McCain's 189. We have also, because of current polling and historic trends, now put New Hampshire in the lean Barack Obama category, which gives him 264 to 189 electoral votes. And because things are so close in the state of North Carolina, we are now going to take that from lean Republican, lean John McCain, to toss-up status. So that will give Barack Obama 264 electoral votes to John McCain's 174 if the election were to be held today. Now, of course,
let's hold it today and get it over with. What do you say? We have 4 weeks to wait. I don't think I can take 4 more weeks of this pressure. Oh. Because if McCain wins, I'm leaving the country. I'll tell you that right now. Here's this is just so sad. Good morning, Neil. Whenever you do the South Florida polls, you rarely put a choice on there for those of us who don't live there. What gives? What gives? Well, how can you put a choice on there when it's about South Florida institutions that you're going to miss if they disappear? Well, what's the other choice? We can always put on there, I don't live there. Right?
We could.
Or like, we've done that before. But what's the point?
What's the point?
That's kind of like I hate this poll, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a non-choice. So just sit back and look at it and watch it. You know, don't feel deprived. You're not being left out. We know we have a lot of people listening. Oh, and in fact, I had an interesting email about that, which I happen to have right here. I had quite a few emails, as a matter of fact. Isn't that a refreshing breath of fresh air? That's because they knew George wasn't going to be here today. Does George read his emails on the air or not? Like on Friday when I was out?
Last Friday he did not, no.
Oh, that's right. Chris wouldn't know because he wasn't there. Oh, and don't tell me you're going to be out missing in action again on Friday this week.
As far as I know, yeah. Not by my choice.
You didn't go in there and jump up and down and take a dump on Clarence's desk and scream and yell?
I made that clear that I would prefer that, you know...
And he said, get out of here.
Well, I said I would prefer
just like when Flea went to Clarence and talked to him about the rejoins, and he said, you're in promotions. This has to do with programming. Butt out. Mind your own business. Isn't that what he said?
Something along that line.
Well, no, what did he say? I don't want to misquote.
I really don't remember.
No, you are so full of crap. If I remember it, and you're the one who said it, how the hell could you not remember?
I hang out with George too much.
Yeah, too much bad drugs. He told you, in essence, to mind your own business.
Basically, yes.
Yes. Don't worry about rejoins. That's programming. You're in promotions. So bug off. Or F off. Or screw off. Anyway, M says, while listening to your show today, I heard you request email from your audience outside the state, outside the states. Some of your fans might not be listening to your show while you're on live. See, I never really thought about that. I've heard you time and time again complain about your callers calling your show and going off topic. I'd enjoy hearing what some people outside the states who listen to your show thought about the O.J. verdict, one of yesterday's topics. But sending you an email on our listening time on that topic wouldn't be timely. In other words, if they're listening to the archives, like later on in the evening or the next day or like that.
Yep.
Maybe this is one reason why you don't receive that much email from your listeners outside the states. Maybe. Could be. Thank you, Neil, for letting us download your program. It's wonderful to be able to listen to you and your opinions and keep up to date on events in the states we might not be able to find listening to other news outlets. The only problem is that it's a good email, but they don't say where they are. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why not? Are they in hiding or something?
Maybe they didn't think of it.
Is the Gestapo going to come and blow their crap away if they find out they're listening outside of Florida?
Maybe Meyer Lansky's family's looking for him.
Yeah, maybe Meyer Lansky might have something to do with it. Hyman Roth. What about Bugsy Siegel? Did you ever hear of him?
Yes, I have.
Well, how could you hear of Bugsy Siegel and not have heard of Meyer Lansky?
Bugsy was in movies.
Meyer Lansky was Hyman Roth. Did you think that Hyman Roth was just a fictional character not based on any real person?
He's not real?
Israel?
Gutierrez, what?
He offered them $10 million to let him live in Israel. They said, no tanks. He said, no, we get all the tanks from Bush. And the bombs and all the other chazarai.
Why did they want him to live in Israel?
No, they didn't. He was trying to evade arrest in the States.
Oh,
and so he tried to flee. Oh, sorry. He tried to flee to Israel, and then he tried to flee to South America. Don't you remember in Godfather 2? Same thing with Hyman Roth. And Michael says, Nicaragua won't take him. They won't take him either, wherever they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That was Hyman Roth. Beside the Neil Rogers Show, which current South Florida institution will you miss most when it finally disappears? 621 votes on our flaming poll. The Dow is down 12.5 points now. It's got a minus in front of it. But it's not 99, down 15 points. See, if I just keep my mouth shut, now down 16.5. Most overseas markets, though, gained today. Isn't that good news? We stopped the bleeding a little bit today. Oh, thank God. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Oh, my money is gone. See, when I go to Woodbine, I get some entertainment. I have a good time. I don't take any money that I can't afford to lose or don't want to lose. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I'm saying a fool and his money are soon farted. That's what I'm saying. The stock market, and I've told you this for years, is just like gambling without the entertainment. And there are the insiders. They know what's going to happen. They got the clue, and the rest of us were just pawns in it. Just like the thing with the gas prices. The thing with the gas. Publix is winning the pool, hands down your pants. 190 are going to miss Publix. It's never going to go away.
Yeah, they're never going anywhere.
Panthers NHL team. They'll be the first one to go, 47. Museum of Science and Planetarium in the Grove, 46. Joe Stonecrabs, which I never ate there, but many people tell me it's highly overrated, 35. And the Pizza Loft, Jeff Cohen, who called in before for a little self-aggrandizement, is up there in the top 4. Top 5 with 34 votes. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
For a little Jewish boy, that Jeff Cohen did pretty good. Thanks to me.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
The sports leader. Were you drudge packing?
Nice going, Clarence. You simpleton. You idiot.
You fairy.
Incompetent at best.
I joined the Nazi party. They used to call it the GOP. And I strongly agree with right-wing policies, so they won't be coming for me. So I went to the Nazi party, convention held in the Empire State. For 9/11, thank the Saudis, give their hands a shake, and dance on the grave. I'm reading Mein Kampf now, the Bush Doctrine as well.
All right.
You see, you believe anyone if you can't think for yourself.
La da da da.
La da da da.
La da 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 da.
The entertainment at the Nazi party was appropriately Christian and white. There was David Duke and Clear Channel of Brooklyn Greenwood and Toby Greenteeth Keith. I'm watching O'Reilly now and Ann Coulter as well. If you don't believe Bush is the only one, then you should die and go to hell.
You fairy. 11:19 at 560 WQAM. We got the much reviled Big O coming up at 2 o'clock. Why is everybody picking on him, Flea?
I think it's your fault.
No, Flea started it this morning.
It's all me.
An unmerciful Big O bashing.
It was brutal.
Rock solid.
What, his show?
Flat out.
Hey, it's your buddy, and you've had tremendous success with those rejoins, too. I love the way Flea tells me this morning before the show how he went over Clarence's head. He went to his good buddy Joe Bell about the rejoins and the formatics and the imaging. See, I don't care about the imaging because that's hopeless. I mean, all they know is from jockstraps. That's not the problem, the imaging. The problem is consistency on the formatics so we know where the damn rejoin ends. That's all. I don't care if they say the horseball station, the sports station, the sports leader, the daily leader, the weekly reader. I don't care what they say. Just keep it consistent. That's all, like a real radio station. And Joe Bell agreed with you, right?
He did.
And did nothing.
Absolutely.
As we just heard, agreed and did nothing. That's his style.
Remember, it takes time to get stuff done here, so.
Are you sticking up for fat-ass Jolly Joe now just because you think it's going to do you some good down the road?
Hey, maybe it'll get me a raise.
Yeah. Oh, my God. What a sense of humor you got.
Well, I try.
Boy, you must be hanging out with George too much now besides going to those meals. Must be smoking some of the same good peyote. Yeah, Jolly Joe's going to give you a raise through the roof with a crane. Here's an email that says, Neil, I hear the Torontonians are cutting the brakes of people who are liberals. That's great. Yeah, that's true. There's one neighborhood here where the people that have got liberal party signs on their lawns are getting not only the signs torn down, but also their brakes cut.
Wow.
Well, you know those right-wingers, man, they tend to get a little testies. If the Canadians elect Harper and the morons here elect Obama, I might move to Canada if it wasn't hell on earth for 9 months of the year. If the morons here elect Obama, what the hell does that mean? What kind of nonsense is that? And Harper is going to win, but he's not going to win a majority. Thank God. Oh, thanks God. Stephen Harper, George Bush Light, another Nazi with a small cross, you know, the small swastika. He's got it hidden on his left cheek. Now this, Don in New York says, and I have no idea what he's talking about. Subject, P.S. Do we know what restaurant he's talking about? He said, I hadn't been there for 7 years, as I'm thrilled to say I finally fled South Florida forever almost 3.5 years ago. On a dreaded trip back to paradise, we had the displeasure of eating there recently. And I don't know where there is. P.S. Does that stand for some restaurant we know?
P.S. or P.F.?
P.S. S is in Schmidt.
No idea.
I must say, we both thought the food had taken a nosedive, will not be back. Well, chill. Don in New York, why not tell me where you're talking about? We also had the displeasure to have eaten at one of the only other 24-hour... Oh, he must be talking about Lester's Diner. At one of the only other 24-hour diners in Broward, Peter Pan on Oakland Park Boulevard. We must add that we will not be back there as well, as the food sucked and the portions were crap. Let me say it again. The food sucked and the portions were...
crap.
Mm-hmm. I guess they both replaced their kitchen staffs with that good old cheap labor from Mexico, or famous for doing the crap that Americans won't do. Well, now these establishments can add me as one of the Americans who now won't be eating their formerly decent but now inedible crap. Loyal listener since the early 80s, Don in New York. Come on, Don. Tell us what that first one was. I guess he was talking about Lester's because then he follows it up with another diner. You think?
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, Lester's is still legendary. Right? Well, you guys don't even know from Lester, so what am I talking? Where do you live, Flea?
Aventura.
Oh, my God, we got two Dade County yokels working here today.
Aventura is like right there, though, on Broward. So.
Get out of here. Are you kidding me?
In 2 minutes, you're in Broward.
Aventura's like Broward. Aventura is the epitome of what South Beach used to be, old Jews.
But I used to live off of Griffin Road, so I lived in Broward for a little bit.
Yeah. Off of Griffin Road near where?
Near 95.
Near I-95, not too far from the Seminoles.
Yeah, right
From
down
the
the road
Hard
from the field. Actually, across the street from the field.
Great place.
Yeah, one of
Love
our
that
fine
place.
restaurants on our Neil deal.
Love that place.
Yeah, that place is awesome.
643 votes on Chris's marginal poll. We're going to make 800 a day if it's the last thing we do. In fact, what we'll do is we'll preempt the Big O show, and Flea and Fat Chris will stay on until we get 800 votes.
All right, sounds good.
I won't, because at 2 o'clock I gotta be out of here. I'll have my shoes, my pantaloonies, and my shirt. I already got my shirt on, because you know what the low was last night here? It's sunny, it's beautiful. It's like a picture postcard. The low was, just as predicted, +3, 38 degrees.
Nice.
And in outlying areas, they were predicting some frost last night. Kind of really frost my ass, like Harry would say. How those Cubs doing, huh? Oh! Let's jump on that bandwagon. Haven't heard from that bozo. Oh, tomorrow it's going to be all the way up to 59, and Wednesday 66, and Thursday 68. Sunny, baby. It's +12 right now, and it's just sitting inside here and looking out the window. It's just beautiful. Like a picture postcard, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody says for the poll, how about Lorenzo's Italian Market in North Miami Beach? Love your show, says Amy. Thanks, Amy. What do you think? Is Lorenzo still there?
Yeah, it's still there.
I did a remote. I did an appearance there at Lorenzo's. We didn't do a show there, but we did an appearance there. Years ago. Years and years. Back in the IOD days. We used to do a lot of stuff back in those days. Now, of course, it's a whole different ballgame. Thank God we had that big turnout at Gulfstream, you know what, for Neil's last appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Fat Chris was there,
yes,
chopping up the free food, going back over and over and over again.
All right, Mr. Dessert.
I had dessert. I like dessert. I like the ice cream. To me, that's the best part of the meal. Did you have dessert?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you like Hank? In more ways than one. Not just gigantic. Boy, he was so huge the other night at Woodbine. He was huge. His pupik. I've seen condominiums smaller than his pupik. And what am I going to say? I mean, I was real happy to see him. We had a good time. We had some laughs. Ripped Joe Belly ass. He richly deserves. Talked about Boy Gary and stuff from the past. We had a good time. But what am I going to say? Lose an ounce? What would you say? What would you say? My God, you've gotten gigantic? You're going to die?
Yes.
No, seriously, what would you say?
Yeah, you're trying to save his life.
You wouldn't say anything. Because us fat folks, we don't look at it that way, like you're trying to save our life. We look at it like you're taking a cheap shot. Like you fat pig, like that. You know. Nobody wants to be called a fat pig. Even those of us who are. Right, Chris?
Sure.
You fat pig.
What'd you say?
11:26 at QAM. You know, week after week, more and more people are taking advantage of Neil's half-price deals on WQAM.com. And this week, no exception. Starting this Thursday, you can buy $100 certificates for just $50 to Anoka Indian Restaurant and the Peacock Lounge. They're boasting about a new, larger location in the heart of Coconut Grove, a modern atmosphere with a Bollywood theme. Try appetizers like shrimp and lobster nests or Mumbai nachos. Feast on fabulous entrees that are an Indian spin on American classics, like their famous butter chicken called Mukni Murji, spice-crusted hanger steak, and masala meatloaf. They also feature a full bar and bottomless glass of wine every day. Anoka Indian Restaurant in the heart of Coconut Grove. George has eaten there, by the way, said it was fabuloso. Did you get to eat there, Chris?
Yes, the place was great.
There you go. For reservations, call 786-552-1030. And thanks to me, you'll be able to buy $100 certificates at half price, just $50, starting at noon this Thursday on most prestigious WQAM.com.
Biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
The biggest names.
The best talent. The Big O.
Orlando Alzagari. Mornings 5 to 7.
Sports Radio 560
QAM. The sports leader.
I know that the Lord even loves Neil Rogers.
If you're nominated, you'll lose to McCain. You have a message. It is filled with hope. Didn't I read in your book you used to smoke dope? Just you wait until the big convention. All the superdelegates will be mine. Then all of your supporters will be angry. Hear how they whine. Barack Obama, no, you cannot win. I'm the only one who feels like it's never ending. People think that I'm out of my mind. I'll tell the pundits when I'm nominated. Kiss my behind.
Welcome.
Barack Obama, middle name Hussein. I'm the only one who can beat John McCain. I am the walrus. Cuckoo could choose me.
Okay, one moment, please. I'm printing a couple of things out, okay?
Okay.
I don't go for that dead air crap. But then again, it's QAM, and we don't mind dead air.
Yeah, we do. We hate dead air.
On QAM? That's our specialty.
Oh, QAM. Oh, okay.
That's the specialty. Dow is down 41 points. No big Timus. No big Matsia. Anyway, Don in New York responds. Thank you, Don. See, there's a guy who actually is listening now. Now, if he were listening in the archives later on, he would respond, and then tomorrow we'd have to say, oh, guess what he was talking about? And people would be saying, huh?
Huh?
Sorry, I thought you received my first email telling you the restaurant you were trying to think of was the Floridian. Yeah, but I received 800 other emails saying the same thing, Don. The first restaurant I was referring to in my PS that took a nosedive was indeed the Floridian. It now kind of sucks along with Peter Pan. It was not Lister's, whose last trip recently was still pretty good. Thanks, Don. Is Don on the phone?
No.
Let's see. Oh, here's one from the fake Roger Magallon.
Who?
Roger Magallon. Ranieri's producer that George hated like poison because he was trying to get George fired and get George's job.
Okay.
Roger Magallon. A jerk.
Okay.
The only problem with the Epicure Bakery is that it's in South Florida. South Florida doesn't deserve that place. No wonder we're all obese. Oh, my Neil God, that place is good.
Neil God!
Says the fake Roger Magallon. Speaking of fake, by the way, wait till you hear this. Little shot. Little shot. This is obviously from somebody across the street. FTH is the name of the emailer, alleged. This email address. Ha! Even at your last ever appearance at Gulfstream, you didn't get nearly as many people turning out that La Bastard gets every week at his events. Ha! I thought we did pretty good.
I think so.
And as far as La Bastard's concerned, how much cash is he pulling down, and what kind of numbers has he got? Pretty mediocre. 2s last time I checked. 2s in men in the Target demo. Freaking 2s, okay? He's a state of mind, just like some of the restaurants we were talking about. State of mind. In addition to which, when we got our afternoon guy...
All right.
Following 2 hours of dead air.
Rock solid.
Including that jerk show. My God, you should have heard Hank going on about that. We had a good conversation. We ripped some serious asses. Isn't that what it's all about?
Mm-hmm.
When old friends who used to work together meet and greet and eat. 663 votes on your poll, and the Dow's down 65 points. There's the egghead, Ali Felching.
People are prepared to say, I'm getting out of the stock market. Give me whatever.
Oh, and then they put that crazy Jim Cramer on the Today Show yesterday on NBC, and he tells everybody, oh, if you're going to need any of your money in the next 5 years, sell all your stocks now. This is a crazy person. This is a guy who jumps up and down like Rumpelstiltskin with ants in his pants and makes a mockery every day out of the stock market and people's investments like it's a big joke. And he goes on there and tells everybody to sell their stock, and they wonder why the market took a crap. Lunatic. Jim Cramer, he needs to be put in a rubber room somewhere. He needs to be taken out for a walk. One last one. Not sure is the name of this person, the name of the emailer. Not sure. Versailles Restaurant on Cayocho. As much of a state of mind as Joe Stonecraft's, but regrettably, it belongs on the list. Yours truly, not sure. You want to put that on there, the Versailles?
Sure.
How about the, what you call it, on Miami Beach? The Forge. Talking about state of mind. See, we could have put the Rascal House on there, but it's long gone. And once it's gone, it ain't coming back. The Rascal House. Another state of mind. Even some of the old Jews from New York stopped going when they wouldn't let them steal the pickles anymore. Is there anything more disgusting than seeing some old bitch shoving a bunch of dill pickles in her purse, which, you know, there's a bunch of hair and lint and mung in there? They don't care. Just wash it off, you know, and the pickle, too. Good lesson for all you kids out there. Wash off that pickle before you put it in your mouth. You ever eat at the Rascal House, either one of you?
No.
Yeah, I've eaten there a couple times. Well, had.
Figures Tampa Jew. Do you know they had a deli in Tampa once upon a time? It lasted about 6 weeks. Now, when were you in Tampa? I mean, when did you get out of there?
I left there to go to Fort Myers in, like, 96.
So you were there when Bob Lassiter was on the air?
Oh, yeah. You used to play the Luis Miguel as his lead-in for, like, an hour just because you hated him. I remember that.
Because I hated Luis Miguel? I love Luis Miguel.
No, you hated Lassiter.
Oh, I didn't.
No?
Never. I'm the one that caught Lassiter on the air, for crying out loud. I'm the one that caught him in Tampa. So you can blame me for that.
WSUN.
Right. I was the one who suggested, because they were simulcasting me and Rick and Suds and Phil Henry from IOD, and then they needed a morning guy. And Lassiter had retired from the business. He had a big blow-up at FLA and a big argument with them, and he told them to shove it, and he got out of the business and went to live in Iowa with his wife. Iowa, in the cornfields. And somehow I got his number, and they called him and said, we'd like you to do mornings on SUN. We're starting a new talk station, blah, 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 and he came down. So you can blame me for that. And then he went back to FLA, I believe. Didn't he?
I don't remember. But then who was on after you at SUN?
Who was on after me in the afternoon?
Yeah,
Rick
who followed your
Rick
show?
and Spud. Rick and Suds.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it was then.
And at night,
Railroad! Railroad!
the goddess,
Railroad!
Randy,
Railroad!
Rip-Off Randy.
Railroad!
You don't remember her?
Oh, yeah, I remember her.
Do you? Well, that was a bad experiment. That was destined to fail, WSUN. That was a typical Cox Broadcasting bonehead move. Typical radio bonehead move. Tampa. Oh, my God. Are there any, like, real people in Tampa? I know there's some really great restaurants. We've talked about that, like Donatello's.
Yeah, and Burns Steakhouse. I would say
Right.
the people in Tampa are more real than they are down here in South
Get
Florida.
out of here. Oh, my God. If those are real people, I'm exiting the subhuman race. People with orange hair and purple eyes and their nose where their ass is supposed to be, those are real people. They're mugwumps. They're like cartoon characters. They've got orange hair and purple hair. They're more real. Maybe what you're trying to say is they're more tolerable than the people in South Florida.
That could be it.
But not more real.
They do speak of the English, though.
No speaking English. That's the problem in South Florida and in some Chinese markets here in Toronto. No speaking English.
And better drivers up there as well.
Oh, not here. Better drivers up where, in Tampa?
Yeah, in Tampa.
I don't agree with you. Oh, well, better than South Florida, yeah.
Anywhere's better than South Florida.
No, not here. The driving here is, I keep telling you this, and you'll never come here anyway, so. The worst in the world. We have 400,000 Chinaman. No speaking English, lots of them. They can't read the signs. And you know, a lot of places the bad driving is because there are punks going too fast. Here, 99% of the people are going too slow. And the people who are going too slow, just like in South Florida, the Alta Cockers that are going way too slow, they cause the wrecks because they force the rest of us to, like, take dangerous moves to get around them to try to get from point A to point B. So they may not be in the accidents, but they cause the majority of them, the Alta Cockers. But here, it's like everybody wants to go, so they just have no interest in going anywhere.
You know, actually, I think I've been to Toronto once.
Yeah, and?
I was in high school, so it's a while ago. But
what were you doing here?
Went on a family trip, and we went up into Canada through Detroit. And
through Detroit, and you survived?
Yeah, well, we only
and by the way, the idiot that sent me the thing yesterday about I don't like black people because I'm ripping Detroit, let me tell you something. Detroit is a sewer. It's a toilet. Anyway, you went through Detroit.
Well, yeah, no, we got into Canada through Detroit, and then we kind of went along the border camping and stuff like that at different places. And I remember going through a big city and looking about where we went. That was the only really big city we went through, so.
Well, the first city would be...
On your way to where?
Would be Windsor, right?
We went to, ended up getting all the way up to Niagara Falls, stayed on the Canada side, and whenever we had to buy something, we went on the U.S. side.
Let me say it again. You wouldn't go through Toronto to get to Niagara Falls unless you went a circuitous route.
Well, no, I'm looking at the map now, and you kind of go along the road.
And then you make a turn back on the QEW, right?
The who, what, hair?
And then you go to Niagara Falls. And you say, hey, this is really neat. It's a great place to see once.
Yes.
Once.
Definitely.
And then don't ever go back.
The biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader. leader.
The biggest names, the best talent. It's the big dog, Joe Rose. Weekday morning, 7 to 10. Sports Radio 560 QAM. The sports leader.
Neil God.
This is for you, Sarah.
I thought Christianity was fairy tale. This religion thing was not for me. They held a big convention and let me in for free. Had no idea what I was about to see. Oh! They were speaking in tongues that made me a believer. It was kind of fun to stick it out of my mouth. Speak in tongues. They got me believing my tongue is weaving from side to side. The Lord will now embrace me. I clap my tongue to the beat. Now, whatever I do, He'll forgive me. Cause now I speak in tongues. That makes me a believer. And I'm having fun playing around with my mouth. Now I speak in tongues.
1147, 560 WQAM. And, of course, that refers to the pastor there, that crazy pastor in Alaska. He's got to get rid of all the witches, baby. He knows which witch is which. Here's one of the most important emails in the history of mankind. From Dennis in Seminole, Florida, listening online today live. Oh! Attaboy, Dennis. Dennis might just save my life here. You ready, Fatso? This could be for you, too.
I'm ready to go.
Neil, we obviously share an addiction to ice cream. I must have my ice cream or there is no life.
I have no life.
Being diagnosed as diabetic 3 years ago, I considered that avenue closed. How depressing this was, only another addict would know. But then a ray of light. Breyer's Carb Smart. Is there hope? Yes, 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 he says. And, of course, I think it's significant enough to take, 10 seconds and find...
Yes! 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 Yes!
It barely raised my glucose level and actually tastes good. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. That's the problem. Breyer's Carb Smart. Add to that a little whipped cream, and if you need more, get Hershey's unsweet cocoa powder. Make abyssal syrup with a bit of milk and Splenda. The cocoa is only about 5 carbs per teaspoon. At least for me, this works. Says Dennis in Seminole, Florida. Isn't Seminole where they used to have the dog track, which used to be a harness track, Seminole Downs, up by Orlando?
No, Seminole, Florida is over by the St. Pete area.
Oh, Castleberry is where that place used to be.
Yeah, Castleberry is near Orlando and Kissimmee.
But the name of the place used to be Seminole Downs. And they used to have flies the size of watermelons. Flies, like horse flies, and shoe fly pie and flies like that. Yeah, big flies, and they bit. They would bite.
Yeah, that would be a horse fly.
What?
That's called a horse fly.
Well, that's because it was a horse track back in the day. That's the only reason I was there at Seminole Downs. Not getting much response on my harness racing driver poll. Who was it? Dave Pallone? Brian Sears? Tim Tetrick? John Campbell? Come on now. Ronnie Pierce? Francis O'Hare? You people can do it. Sandy Fisher? Macy Pisher? Here's one from Brian about, it says, have you been to Byrne Steakhouse in Tampa lately? No. How about you, Flea?
I was there 2 years ago.
And the dessert, I was never there after they built the dessert room.
Oh, it's amazing.
Which is probably why I'm still alive. The Dow is up 40 cents, by the way. Let's hear it. Oh, it's down 10 points. It just in one flash went from up 40 cents to down 10 points. A lot of spastic activity going on. And how was it?
It's excellent.
Still?
Yeah, it's upstairs. You got enclosed little rooms where if you want to have some privacy.
I'm just talking about in general, everything. There's still a great onion soup.
Oh, the best.
The very best French onion soup in the world is the Byrne Steakhouse. The steaks, The meat is so juicy you could cut it with your finger. You could cut it with your thing. It is just tender, and of course you pay by the weight, by the ounce. I'm sure it's still like that, right?
Yes, it is.
You can get like a 16-ounce or a 24-ounce or whatever you like.
Yeah, and if you like wine, I have a great wine list.
And Bern Laxer, the good news is he's dead.
Oh!
He really pissed me off that time, you know? Because when I was at the WSNews, I sent 80 zillion people, because when I did UM baseball, we'd go over there and play USF all the time. And every trip to Tampa, it was a must to go to Bern's Steakhouse at least once. And so when I'd come back to Miami, and I'd go on the air and rave about Bern's Steakhouse and yada, yada, yada. And so I sent 80 zillion customers his way up there. Everybody from South Florida would go to Tampa and go out for a good meal would go to Bern's. And so I go there this one time, and Bern Laxer gives me the tour of the restaurant and thanks me profusely. And then he says, but I never try to repay one good deed with another. In other words, I'm not picking up the tab. Not that I was looking for him to pick up the tab, but it was just that he went out of his way to say it, you know, thanking me for sending all of my listeners up there and yada, yada, yada. But I don't try to repay, in other words, pay it. How do you like that?
Not so good.
I thought that was chintzy. And then he died. That's one of my great accomplishments, man. I outlived Bern Laxer. Isn't that good?
It's pretty impressive.
What are you laughing about?
I just thought that was funny.
Did you know him?
I've met him a long time ago, yeah.
Cheap bastard. Great restaurant, though, Bern Steakhouse in Tampa. Bad neighborhood, though. It's on Howard Street, right?
Yeah, it's actually a lot better now from when you were there last.
It used to be a bad neighborhood, man.
No, it's nice now. They cleaned it up.
Not as bad as Detroit. So the good news for Chris is that he and his family once went to Detroit and he survived it.
Yep.
All
right.
All right.
Now, what year would that have been?
Oh, let's see. I graduated in 93, so probably like 1990, about that.
And you're still alive? All right. What a turlet. Anybody that wants to defend New Orleans and Detroit, to me, doesn't know what their ass from their elbow. But then again, there are some people, everything is a racial thing. You know, everything has to be turned into a racial thing. No matter who's living there, the fact is the place is a toilet.
At least New Orleans has good restaurants, though.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And so does Tampa. Would you ever consider going back and living in Tampa?
In a heartbeat.
You would?
Yep.
Oh, well, I realize where you are now. That's right. And you live in Dade County.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
Chris lives in Dade County, and he thinks it's paradise.
I didn't say that.
Bob B. has an email here that I guess Flea is going to like. George, by the way, if you tune in late, is out pretending to be sick today. He's screwing off. More power to him. Nice going, George. He's probably got a hot date with a roller skate. Bob B., my good friend, says, you're so right about the big zero. He is unlistenable. Unlistenable. How do you like that? I was flipping channels the other day and heard him crying about the Dolphins kicking a field goal. He can't even speak. A field goal. Yeah, that's the second email I've got about the fact he can't say field goal. He says field goal. Flea?
I don't remember hearing that, but possibly.
Bob B. says he is unlistenable.
I will not argue with Bob B. He sounds like a good man.
Oh, you are a relentless bastard, you know? You're the kind of guy we like. Not a mealy mouth like some of the people we got. People who say all kinds of crap off the air, and then once they get on there, oh, I never said that, like that, you know. Scared of their own shadow. 692 votes on the poll. By the top of the hour, we're going to have over 700. Chris, how do you like them apples, huh?
Sounds good.
I bet you we can do 850 today, at least. Beside the Neil Rogers Show, what current South Florida institution will you miss the most when it finally disappears? Publix 198. Don't worry, it's not going anywhere yet. Florida Panthers NHL team 51. Soon. Museum of Science and Planetarium in the Grove 48. Joe Stonecrab's 41. Pizza Loft 36. Jeff Cohen called in for a little self-aggrandizement and a free plug. Seaquarium 35. Florida Marlins 26. Highlight Dania and Miami 25. Winn-Dixie 25, Bird Bowl 21, Bayside Marketplace 20, Calder Racetrack 18, Love 94 15, and Ileana Rosanna 14, Elbow Room 13, Shorty's Barbecue 13, and Little Bob Mayer also has got 13.
Biggest names. The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
The biggest names, the best talent. You're listening to Sports Radio 560 WQAM. Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
I am Frau Ileana Ross-Leitman, and I like scrubbing my smelly gorilla ass with soap made from Jules and listening to the Neil Roque Comunista Hour. Hey, Kyle!
Admitted to taking steroids.
There's no sadder sight on this earth than a football player trying to think.
Are you completely off the drugs? Are you detoxified at this point?
You're looking for crystal meth? Try the trailer next door. Talk to the fat chick on the porch.
What are you on?
Is it the crank?
Those guys, so we here to tell. They've been using steroids in the NFL. Heard it kind of helps them to play real tough. And that's part of the reason they seem more wired up. Drugs in the NFL. Taking drugs in the NFL. If they test positive, the commission gives them hell. Turning those pro players into criminals. Oh my God, just give me the drugs.
12 noon at 560 WQAM. Happy Tuesday to you. No George today. He's too many drugs, speaking of that, and too much strange ass. Maybe his own. Ken Block, the guy with the eyes, says, would the Dayland Mall count as an institution? No. I mean, we could put all the shopping malls in, right?
Sure.
That's kind of silly. The big tower with a D on it, if nothing else. A landmark, highest point in Florida except for the one landfill on the turnpike between I-75 and Red Road. I don't think so, Kenny. Maybe David Cassidy's hanging out there today. Go see if you can dig him up. Byron, B-R-Y-O-N. That's an unusual spelling, ain't it? Brian from Meridian, Ohio says, hi, Neil. As an American citizen living in Canada, do you have to return to the USA after a certain amount of time? 180 days, Brian. I have a pension. Would I have to pay Canadian income tax if I moved to Canada and kept my citizenship? No. If you have no Canadian income, you pay no Canadian taxes. How's it going, Brian, eh? For the poll, what about being civil to each other? Oops, I forgot that. Left South Florida years ago. Hope Obama kicks McCain's ass tonight. Yeah, the big debate's tonight. Anybody going to be watching?
No.
Come on now. No football game on tonight. How's that wall of football coming, by the way, Flea?
Pretty good.
The wall of football?
Well, the Dolphins have won.
They're 2-2, and the Canes are 2-3. That's 4-5, if you ask me. Don't sound too good. I may have to do a Joyce here during the next break. You guys prepared?
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
I'll make sure.
Well,
I'll make sure I got a bit ready.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, I would. Oh, I see what you're saying. So in other words, you would play the bit after if I don't come back?
Exactly.
Oh. Maybe I'll go now.
If you need to.
While the urge to purge is still there. Not overwhelming. In other words, I'm not going to just get up and run out of here.
You're not going to have an accident?
Jim in Miami says, I've been listening to you since 81. My Nana was listening to you, and she told me to come hear this Meshuggah, and I've been listening ever since. One of your funniest lines, when you were talking about Ponytail's Pizza Loft, you said Wednesday is bike night. Come on your bike, and Jeff will help clean it off. Funniest Boca line, Mota Geldy, I don't even know how you have kids. Doi, 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 doi. George's funniest line, I'm still waiting, he says, Jim in Miami. Maybe that's why George is out sick today. He must have pre-read that fax, that email, whatever that thing is. You think?
Mm-hmm.
Because you know how uptight George is. Well, George is not funny. George is very... educated, he knows his crap, he's very intelligent, but he's not funny. You know what I mean? Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
That's not his strong suit, is a comedy. Justin said, did you see that Hustler is making a porn video with a Sarah Palin lookalike? Apparently, there's also going to be a scene where Palin has a three-way with a Swillery and Condoleezza lookalike. P.S. The Beast is an a-hole. Fat Chris should punch him in his fat ass. Excellent email, Justin. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Sounds like a plan, but you don't have the cojones because you know damn well you get fired so fast.
Correct.
They'd kick you out of there in a heartbeat. Just look at the Beast cross-eyed and you're out. You're done. Jay in Fort Lauderdale says, in the last year I've been back on the road listening to WQAM most of the day. However, back around Kentucky Derby time, I was listening to a certain sports host on 4 to 7 telling about being at a sports gathering and while in the head ran into O.J. He then said he got his boys to go over and get a picture with O.J. His wife, who evidently has the brains of the family, was visibly upset. I will say this guy, who has a jock wrapped tightly around his brain, can now request to get on the butcher's visiting list. I wonder if he would want his boys to have their picture taken with another butcher like Charles Manson. Oh, Schmidt forgot he didn't play football. This guy is another of those people who profess that conservative lifestyle, except when it comes to a killer football player. I have to suffer through another station when he is on. On another note, thanks to that station for that 2 to 4 move also. Wow, who's doing the programming? The little shot there at the big...
Rock solid.
Oh, another one. Keep up your good work even with your station's limitations, says Jay in Fort Lauderdale. Of course, you can verify this, he says, but don't know the exact date. Oh, no, it wouldn't surprise me that anybody on the station is still sniffing OJ's jock and ass.
Rectum.
Right?
You never know here.
Doesn't surprise me. It's been that way since the first time I walked in the door. Norma Kent walked me into that building. 7:04 on your poll. Nice going.
Why, thank you very much.
You're welcome. In spite of what Clarence says about you.
You're too kind.
So who's going to be working on Friday? I guess George and Flea. Flea is going to be like a regular on the show now.
Well, Flea's not sure if he can do it.
I will have to arrange some things to make that happen. I wasn't aware of it until this afternoon.
Until this afternoon?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's only 5 minutes into the afternoon.
Thank you.
So in other words, you just found out about it? Just this moment?
Well, a couple segments ago he found out.
So in other words, we're as usual, we're like left to our own resources.
Well, they never told him that he was scheduled again on Friday.
What do you mean he was scheduled again on Friday? He was scheduled?
Yeah, he's on the schedule for this Friday.
Let's see. Yeah, it says Lee and George on Friday.
And they never actually told him that you had to do it again.
And sometimes you don't know because the schedule just cut and paste with mistakes on it.
Right. Oh, yeah. You're knocking Clarence again, huh? Good. Keep it up.
Yes.
Good thinking. What a nerd. Obama widens lead in national poll. By the way, the emails have come to a sudden halt. Come to a screeching halt. Although maybe I've got... Oh, Rich Pachter sent me a thing.
Maybe everybody went to lunch.
Yeah, that might be it. Neil at neilrogers.com for the emails, by the way. Don't feel pressured. I'm feeling some pressure right now. In fact, I might do the break just a moment or two early. Maybe.
Biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
The biggest names. The best talent.
It's the Mad Dog.
Jim Mandich. Afternoons 4 to 7.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
So good.
Made it.
All right. This sure was something that I planned. I hope you like her. She has 5 kids and a husband. A true pro-lifer. Her teen girl is pregnant. She can field dress a moose and was in a beauty pageant. Now it's time to introduce. I picked a girl from Alaska, Governor Sarah Palin. I picked a girl real conservative. I hope I get to be president. Loves guns and God and leans so right. Rush Limbaugh screams with delight. I picked a girl who's a hot chick. Governor Sarah Palin.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of emails on here that I didn't see. Now, let me just address this. Oh, and Flea was sent me an email yesterday. They were giving away a bunch of Panther tickets.
Yes, we have 4 pair that you can give away all this week. Against the Atlanta Thrashers, which is their opener on Saturday.
Oh, the Atlanta Trashers?
Yeah, that's the home opener for the Panthers.
The Atlanta Trashers? Well, that's because of that horrible division they're in, with the Washington Capitals and the Atlanta Trashers and the Carolina Hurricanes. The Canes. That's that awful division.
Yeah, they opened the season against the Hurricanes in Carolina.
Nothing could be finer than to beat up Carolina, even with my good buddy Ray Whitney. I wonder if he's still there. Is he still on Carolina? I'm sure he is. Got a whole bunch now. Anyway, let me ask you a technical thing, Fatso.
What's up?
I mean, I'll click on the Outlook Express, and it looks like it'll say there's no yada yada in this view.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I look over to where it says Inbox on the left under Folders, it said 11. And then you click on inbox, and all of a sudden all these emails show up. How do you like that?
It might be because the
yeah,
it'll, I don't know how often it refreshes, so it might just not be refreshed, and then when you pull it up, it'll auto refresh maybe. I don't really use Outlook, so.
Yeah, but it's great for this email thing.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is, but I use the other stuff usually.
You sure as hell wouldn't be using like a Yahoo. Yahoo, by the way, blows. I know George would take great umbrage with that, but yeah, Yahoo sucks. Yahoo email?
Don't use it really. I have a
Well, there's a lot of stuff on here, man. There's a lot of heavy duty. Oh, Mr. Radio, which I printed this out yesterday, and I must have lost it in my pile somewhere. Sorry, Mr. Radio, you loser, you. Boy, is he ever. Boy, George picked a good day to be off. Says, Ileana Ross Layton has one more vote than the Monkey Jungle. No punchline necessary, somebody says. How about Tobacco Road for the poll, the oldest bar in Dade County on South Miami Avenue? Tobacco Road. Get it on there.
I love that place.
James says, how about Roberta Flack? All right. Woo! Maybe James is on a 1 week delay, you think? Well, this is a breath of fresh air. Zisco, our close personal friend, who's busy sitting in the car where his friends are listening to fascist radio or something. You can always play 100 Years Gone By, the American Pie remake. I'm down to hear it, and a good 8 minutes long enough for you to drop a deuce and take a quick shower. Well, I already schmat, and I'm not going to be taking no more quick shower. I showered this morning like I do every day, at least once, usually twice a day, because I'm clean. Fat, grotesque, but at least clean. And I smell wonderful. I smell good. To myself, you know. Now, let me ask you this other question, since you haven't solved the Outlook Express thing.
What's up?
For both of you, people that smell really bad, can't they smell it?
I would hope they could, but I don't know. Like, because, some people, they might be so used to the smell, they don't notice it anymore.
Or how about the spouse? Or the significant other of the person who stinks real bad. They can't smell him?
You would think so.
Yeah. And they don't say, God, honey, why not take a shower? You stink bad.
I offend some people at the station because if they come up and talk to me and their breath stinks, I tell them, bro, have a mint or something, because I would want someone to tell me.
Oh, yeah.
I used to work with
people with
cousins.
Stench breath, yeah.
I used to work with two cousins at when I was working at Publix, and I think it was because of their like background or whatever, the type of food and stuff they ate. But they would just come in, and you were like, "Oh my God, dude, God, I don't want to work with you today, really."
Well, especially when you have the smoker coffee drinker combo, and their breath smells like somebody joiced in their mouth.
Oh, the smoker coffee drinker combo! I hear they're having a special on that at Walmart. People who, what kind of people eat at Walmart? You want to say trailer trash? Now, that expression, I'm sure, is very offensive to a lot of people, and I don't really care, trailer trash. I'm not saying that all people who live in trailers are trash, but a hell of a lot of them are. And Sarah don't live in a trailer, but they are trailer trash. So you don't have to live in a trailer to be trailer trash. Follow my thinking?
Correct.
That is absolutely...
I have no life. Absolutely correct, sir.
I hit the wrong button. In fact, yeah, every now and then I just reach over. What difference does it make? Now these people are getting hostile. I emailed you 2 weeks ago about Carb Smart. I told you the chocolate was awesome, and I'm sure they have more flavors. F you, Dennis. Somebody's jealous because Dennis from wherever the hell Dennis was, Seminole, and I paid attention to it. Well, his email was longer, and it was more, and he was looking for a little bit of empathy from a fellow diabetes guy. James Lewis says, maybe some of your listeners can answer this question for me. Is there an oil refinery plant in the Dania-Fort Lauderdale area? I remember driving in that area back in the 90s, saw something that looked like a refinery plant. Nothing could be finer than to stay out of Dania. Except for Jackson's Ice Cream. That's the only reason I would ever go to Dania.
That should have made the list for the poll.
What's that?
Jackson's
Ice Cream Parlor. Absolutely. Good thinking there, Flea. I agree wholeheartedly. It's been there for about 6,000 years. Before Jesus, before Yoshki was a baby. And that place is awesome. Jackson, now, too bad they don't serve that low-carb ice cream. I'm going to have to check that out. I'm going to have to Google that online, that Breyers or whatever the hell that thing is called. And the reason being that there's low-carb ice creams in the supermarkets here, but when you look at the ingredients, they've got sorbitol and crapitol and all that. And, I'm sorry. I can't handle that. That just makes my stomach explode like the end of the world.
You don't enjoy some anal leakage after your ice cream?
No, I do not enjoy anal leakage at any time. I scream, you scream. We all scream when we have anal leakage. Oh, here's another one. Oh, Zisco also says, F you, Dennis from Schmucksville. Zisco's getting all worked up and whipped up to a frenzy, huh? I emailed you 2 weeks ago about Carb Smart. I told you the chocolate was awesome. I'm sure they got more. This is an extension of the previous one. F you, Dennis from Schmucksville. I know my last 2 emails have been strikes, but I still have 1 strike left before I'm out. Try it, Neil. It's good, Schmidt, says Zisco. Well, where the hell am I going to find that? Well, they have Breyers makes it. Win, another chronic regular emailer, says, I mentioned the ice cream to you years ago. It's very good. Publix sells it. They carry chocolate, vanilla, and Rocky Road. Oh, my God, what I would give for low-carb Rocky Road, I'd give my left nut and half of the right one for that. Hershey's also makes sugar-free chocolate and strawberry syrup sweetened with Splenda. Oh, I can handle Splenda. Thanks, Win. He wins, I lose. Now, here's one about Bern's Steakhouse. Uh-oh. Flea's not going to be happy with this. Going to be very upset. Never again. They're living on their reputation, Neil. Had eaten there for years whenever I was in Tampa. Had my birthday. And, by the way, I'm getting a sore throat, so if I'm not here tomorrow, Fatso,
all right, I'll remember.
Tell George I'm not just trying to catch up with him on off days, but I'm getting, I'm fighting off the cold. Changing weather. We went from summertime here like almost directly into wintertime without the snow yet. I mean,
it's my show. I don't ask you to listen. I don't ask you to call. Frankly, I don't think it's right to be rude to people, but I don't care. I don't call them. They call me.
You tell them, Bob. Bob McGowan. Great broadcaster, but very weak material. Boy, the stuff they talk about, makes your eyes hurt. Anyway, had my birthday dinner a couple of years ago, says Tim, and couldn't believe how they'd gone downhill. Ordered a Delmonico. It was of poor quality and overcooked. I make a better steak on my grill here at home in Broward. Service was indifferent at best. My wife, who is far less critical than me, agreed. The dessert was fine, but they bring them in from outside anyway. Very disappointed. Best dinners I've had lately were Sublime in Fort Lauderdale, a very good vegetarian place. Not a veggie myself, but it was a nice change of pace. And a couple of places I discovered from you, Sushi Yoshi in Boca, terrific Korean food, barbecued beef short ribs to die for, and Japan in Parkland. The sushi was all right, but the duck and chicken and shrimp were awesome. The duck.
They've done Neil's deal. It's Japango, I think it is.
Oh, well, it's chopped off on the right. Japango in Parkland, right. It's chopped off. You ever chop it off? But Burns, rest in peace, says Tim. Rest in peace. Cheers, Tim B. P.S. I miss PP from Pembroke Pines and that caller from Miami Shores. Both had great material, but that was then and this is now, I know. Yeah, I know too, Tim. Well, he gives a nice couple of plugs for 2 of our Neil Deal places. That's good. Isn't that good?
Yep.
So what are we going to do about those hockey tickets, the aforementioned hockey to the Panthers and the Trashers?
We can give them away whenever you want.
You know, I'm so out of touch with hockey. I don't know why that is. I shouldn't be, being here, you know. I know the Leafs suck.
What a great play by Kurt Poliakovo, then Bell to set it up, and the Leafs have a 3-1 lead.
Oh, they'll blow that. Whatever game this is, they'll blow it. There's no lead too big for the Leafs not to blow. They suck.
They do. When you put a player on waivers, it's...
Oh, my God. You talk about the NHL Network, and we watch these guys standing around talking about hockey. You talk about ponderous. That is just... Oh, and I'm so glad they're showing this.
Tonight in the hospital for Sage Rosenfeld.
The worst collapse and the worst performance in the history. It's the ex-Dolphin factor. Sage Rosenfeld's Cransteen, Schwartz. Did you either one of you see the ending last quarter of that game?
I saw 1 or 2 of the highlights, but I didn't really see the
Indy
whole
and
thing.
Houston, the Texans, they were clobbering them. They had a gigantic lead, and then this kid, he starts trying to. He's an idiot. And he's not a kid. He's an old rookie.
He's a beast.
Yeah. Rosenfeld's rolling, but hey, throwing him
ball to Andre Johnson, and this guy got his first touchdown. I mean, I'm surprised that this is his first touchdown in the season.
All right, Houston up 17-10. Fourth quarter, 20-10. It's Slayton. This rookie running back class is impressive.
There's so many good running backs in this rookie class.
93 yards on 16 carries. Slayton with the touchdown
8 minutes
there.
and 19 seconds left.
27-10. They whipped
27-10 lead with 8 minutes left.
So the game's over, right?
Yeah, sure.
Never count this.
Sage Rosenfeld, if anybody saw that game, he ought to be lynched. I mean, I have never seen anybody. He kept fumbling and, and then they had one last shot at the end of the game and he throws it right in the defender's hands. Interception. Right in his hands.
Oh, well.
That's the ex-Dolphin factor, isn't he? Ex-Dolphins? Wasn't
Correct.
he
He was the backup. Yep.
Yeah, he was the backup when they had those real winners there, like, who the hell would they have?
Gus Frerotte.
Gus Frerotte. Oh, remember Gus Frerotte was upset? He was upset because the media was ripping him. Brian Greasy. Hey, Brian. Have another belt, Brian.
Dante Culpepper.
Oh, yeah, Dante. That worked out well. How are those knees doing, Dante? How about Dante's in Fort Lauderdale? No, it's long gone. We're not putting places on here that are already shut down. We do those too often. George is right about that. Jackson's Ice Cream Parlor's on there. Doesn't have any votes yet. It should. 735 votes. I think we can do a 900. Nah. What do you think?
Maybe.
Think we can do 9?
I say 850.
This idiot on here with the Jerk Street obsession, this imbecile, I just delete it every time. But there's something sick. Oh, he'll be on tomorrow, by the way, with Joe Rose, so this person can get out his weenie out. Jerk Street. Oh my God, what is the story with him?
Love.
Is that what it is?
I guess.
Mark says, I heard you earlier talking about Hyman Roth and The Godfather being Meyer Lansky. Not everyone is a Godfather fanatic like you and I. I came on here late today to listen. I wrote you yesterday about Dave Palin at the Meadows. At the Meadows! With the obnoxious Roger Houston screaming and puking his guts out. When I lived in Pennsylvania, he is to the Meadows what Bruce Ranger is to Pompano Harness. Not much to say today, just wanted to drop a note. P.S. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Thank you, Mark. No, he isn't to the Meadows what Bruce Ranger is to Pompano Park. Brucey's great, but Dave Palin is like 460 average. Can you imagine a baseball average of 460 like that? That's what those percentages are, like batting averages. 460 something.
Not too bad.
Dave Palin, great, and a good guy too. Met him at Pompano Park 100 years ago. A good guy, Dave Palin. In front, and gets over bet all the time, 3-5, 2-5. Up in the air, there he goes, hippity-hopping, clippity-clopping. He's great. Nobody likes Brian Sears, I guess, out in my audience there on the email thing. There is nobody in a big race, nobody in the last 3-4 years who drives like Brian Sears. Good local boy from Fort Lauderdale, nevertheless. They still don't know who that is. I bet you guys don't know who that is, do you? You don't know Brian Sears from Sears Roebuck, do you?
No.
Nope. 737 on the poll. We got a real shot here today. If we can make 900, if we don't make 900, then you're preempting the Big O show today, and you're going to stay until we get it.
Say what?
1226 at 560 WQAM. Boy, you guys are brutalizing the Big O today. I always thought he was kind of
rock solid.
Not.
Hey, I'm just thinking of having to work another hour or 3, so.
Hey, listen, you better show up here on Friday, because Flea said he can't do it.
Can't do it.
So how are we giving those hockey tickets away? During the break, think about it.
Okay.
Now, is that 4 a day? For 2 pair? How total? What do we got?
No, you have a pair a day for the rest of the week.
So we are giving a pair away today.
Absolutely.
See what happens when we get Flea on the show?
Yeah. Week after week, more and more people are taking advantage of Neil's half-price deals on WQAM.com, and this week, no exception. Starting Thursday at noon, you can buy $100 certificates for just $50 to Anoka Indian Restaurant and the Peacock Lounge. They're boasting about a new, larger location in the heart of Coconut Grove, a modern atmosphere with a Bollywood theme. Try appetizers like shrimp and lobster nest or Mumbai nachos. Feast on fabulous entrees that are an Indian spin on American classics like their famous butter chicken called Mukni Murji.
Very good.
Oh, that's what you had?
Yep.
Butter chicken. I wouldn't be surprised if they slathered your fat ass up with some butter, too.
Well, they suggested that I have that. They said it's very good. The curry was great because I was going to get a steak like George did.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner was like, well, do you want to try something a little more Indian? I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, you like curry? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. He goes, all right, we're going to bring you this.
Yeah, George said it was great.
Yep.
Spice-crusted hanger steak and masala meatloaf. They also feature a full bar and bottomless glass of wine every day. An Oka Indian restaurant in the heart of Coconut Grove. For reservations, call 786-552-1030. And thanks to me, you'll be able to buy $100 certificates at half price. Just $50, and the store opens at noon this Thursday on WQAM.com.
The biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
The biggest names.
The best talent.
It's the DA Show.
Weeknights from 8 to 11.
Here on
Oh my God. 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
Suck it in and hold it.
Palin pork from Alaska. Palin pork from Alaska.
Absolutely.
Pork from Alaska. Married to an Eskimo. Pork from Alaska. A hockey mom bimbo. Sarah stumbled through some colleges after leaving Idaho. She met a guy named Todd, who's a drunken Eskimo. She modeled in her bathing suit in a local beauty show. Then she got a gig in the media, broadcasting for Sport Hole. She ran to be the mayor in a town of 52. Then became the governor of a state where the girls are few. She kept the money for the earmarks that she got approved. And Sarah named her children Trick and Track and Diggity Doo. Where the bathtubs are filling up with crank in Wasilla. Or from Alaska, married to an Eskimo. From Alaska, a hockey mom bimbo.
12:32 at 560 WQAM. Getting toward the ass end of the show now. Let's see. We got the whole. Well, we'll see if George shows up tomorrow. What do you think? What are the odds, being a betting man?
I'm sure he'll be here.
What do you think, Flea?
Yeah, he'll be there.
I guess the drugs will all be gone by 7, 8 o'clock tonight, and probably the bitch. He'll be gone too, whichever one he's screwing today. I mean, don't you think that's a little bit over the top of being on the... Well, I guess, honestly, there's points for that. The drug thing, I can understand, because everybody... The way the economy is going right now, I think most people are, if they're not already on drugs, they're going to be stealing them pretty soon. Not buying them, because they can't afford them. In fact, maybe George, since he's got all the good connections, maybe that's an avenue for some more income. You think?
Maybe.
We can market that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. The first person who calls in for those hockey tickets, you're going to take it off the air and give them away. I'm not doing it on the air.
Okay.
Pair of hockey tickets to the Panthers and Atlanta Trashers opening night Saturday at the Mac Arena. Right, Saturday? Right?
Absolutely.
Yep. Oh. Was that a trick question or what?
No.
First person who calls for those hockey tickets, Fat Chris will pick it up and take your info. I'm looking at the market, and for some reason on CNBC, on the gambling channel, they don't have the thing up. There we go. Dow is down 127, the NASDAQ down 33, and the S&P is down 15.5 points. Oh, boy, don't tell me we're starting on another rocky road again, although I do like my rocky road. There's a couple lines flashing, Fatso. Pick one up. And if it sounds like somebody, human, then give them the tickets. If it sounds like some a-hole, then just slam that phone down on him. So you think I'm giving you the tickets?
You mean like Prozac Ron?
Why, did he call?
He was the first one that I picked up.
Oh, I want the tickets. I need help. Prozac.
Prozac Ron. Oh, my God. Let me ask you, Flea, was Joe Bell as effectual in Fort Myers as he is in this market?
It was a whole different scene, and he was new to Beasley down there, so it was a little bit different.
In what regard?
I don't know. He's changed a little bit since he came down here.
In what regard? His ass has gotten bigger. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, he's about the same size. I'm not
talking about physically. I'm talking about figuratively speaking.
It's different. Like, we weren't cutting stuff back there, I guess, because we were so to the bone anyway. There was nothing to cut. Because I was like the program director, the afternoon drive person, and the promotions director at that station.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he has more things to toy with down here.
More things to doy with?
Doy.
Harry says, Neil, they have the Carb Smart ice cream at Publix for years. chocolate, Rocky Road, butter pecan. Oh. And then he lists all the ingredients for the Rocky Road. For a half a cup, where's the carbs? I don't care about all the rest of it. Total carbs, 14 grams for a half a cup. Well, what's a half a cup? That's not very much.
No, that's pathetic.
How many ounces in a half a cup?
Wow, I'd say maybe
no trans fats.
4.
That's good. How much?
Maybe 4 ounces in a half a cup.
So a pint, which is 16 ounces, that would be 4 times that. So the carbs would be 56 grams of carbs. What's the big timmus with that? What's the big bargain there, huh? I'll check it out. Doesn't sound too promising. Most of those low-carb things. It's only got 5 digestible grams of carb. And then you look at the thing and it's got 150 grams, but only 5 are digestible. BS. Strictly BS.
What happens to the other carbs?
You know what the BS stands for? Blood sugar. Oh, the other carbs, they kind of like disappear, you know? They go down in the bowl. They come out of your hole and they go down in the bowl.
All right, tickets gone.
And then you got soul. Give it to somebody like upstanding human being?
Seemed like it.
I want the tickets.
He
I
said
want the tickets. Can I have the tickets?
I got a cell phone number, to just verify everything, and he said you can call him anytime if you want.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I guess he wants to talk to you personally.
What in God's name are you talking about?
I took down his information.
I don't want his information. That's strictly for the tickets, okay?
Exactly.
I'm not doing like George trolling on the air, okay?
But when he gave me his
you
cell
work
phone
with George
number,
too often. That's the problem.
No, he gave me his cell phone number so I can give all the information.
He was joking, of course.
Well, no, I think he wanted you to call him.
For what?
Well, that you can figure out later.
Oh, and you gave this idiot the tickets?
Yeah, he sounded like a nice guy.
Oh, how old?
I don't know. I didn't ask that.
Well, how old did he sound?
Oh, probably about late 20s, early 30s.
No, too old.
I'm sorry.
New York City Dave says, hey, Neil, I don't know if you ever did this poll. How about a poll? I mean, if we ever did this poll, how many times have we done this?
About 30, man.
About things that are gone from South Florida. Oh, my God. Haven't we done that at least 100 times?
Mm-hmm.
He says, I know George would say we're living in the past, the way people who do not live in South Florida can chime in. My vote would be for the Hollywood Sportatorium. Yeah, we've only, Dave, done that poll about 6,000 times. And in closing, he says the Rangers are 2-0.
Oh!
Big deal. No Yager, no Straka, no nothing. No playoffs, no nothing. The Rangers. Oh, my God. How's that hockey coming here? Let's see.
Sitting on the end of the Leaf bench.
There's that Yuri Talusny. Put some clothes on, Yuri.
And Mike for the third period is Curtis Joseph. Will be joining us as we get started here into the third period with a 4-1 Leaf lead over Buffalo.
Oh, I don't think they blew that game. I don't recall. Meaningless anyway. Exhibitionist hockey games. I mean, geez. How about some football?
It's available only at NFLshop.com.
All right. Are you ready for some smash mouth football?
Sure.
Here's the first race at Delaware Park.
Number 5 is R.B. Mountain Music. Yeah, she just keeps getting better. Her first start.
Oh, my God. Talk about a coma-inducing voice. Is that a coma-inducing or what? Wow. Coma. Some people have got personality, and some people are like a dead man on legs, you know?
And Cujo is still playing? How old is that guy?
Yes. He's only 122. We're bringing Johnny Bauer back if Cujo falters. Cujo couldn't stop a bowling ball in the exhibition season from 100. A bowling ball ruled from 100 yards away. He can't stop anything. His first start, he gave up 6 goals on 12 shots. And then they said, okay, take a rest, Cujo. Hit the bench. Hit the beach. Cujo, you're a hockey guy, huh?
I used to be a Lightning fan when I lived there. I had season tickets.
That Brad Richards could play on my team. He's not on the Lightning no more. Who do you play for now? The Tennessee? Nashville Cats? I'm just out of touch with hockey because it's been so long since the last season. 1967, Bobby Baughan lets it go from the blue line, and it bounces into the net. At any rate, here's somebody who says, and this is definitely not going on the pool, so don't get carried away, Fatso. Okay. How about Swenson's Ice Cream for your pool across from UM? I had my second birthday party there 31 years ago, so it's been around for a while. Great show, go Obama, says Mikey in Miami. Thanks, Mikey, but no. Swenson's, an ice cream place other than Jackson's. You see the difference between Jackson's and Swenson's?
Mm-hmm.
That's simple. That's easy. A child could do that one. Jim says, if duplicates, sorry. Andrew's Diner, Oakland Park. Good food, good eye candy for the gay crowd. Tropics Restaurant and Bar in Wilton Manors.
Gay.
The Wine Cellar Restaurant, Oakland Park. Well, I don't understand. Oh, and the Gateway Theater, established 1951. You want to put any of these on there?
The Gateway Theater is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's been there 100 years. Put the Gateway Theater on there.
Adding it.
Just, what?
Adding it.
Just for Jim and Wilton Manors.
Biggest name.
Hey, Jim.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports lead.
The biggest names, the best talent. It's the Big O, Orlando Alzagari.
Rock solid. Rock solid.
Sports Radio
Rock
560
solid. Rock
QAM.
solid. The sports leader.
Neil Rogers.
This is Debbie.
Hi, Debbie. I'm interested in getting some operations done.
Okay.
And some body contouring and some liposuction.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you get some tummy tuck and lip augmentation, cosmetic breast surgery, facelift, all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering...
What would you like to start with?
Well, I need to get everything done. Probably the first thing I'd like to have removed is my thing.
Okay, we don't do that.
No. Could you do breast implants, though?
It can be done, but I don't know if they would do it right away.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
How much?
5,000.
Excellent. I'd like to have my skin resurfaced, too.
Mm-hmm.
Laser surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Have the lambs stopped crying yet, Mommy?
Excuse me?
Don't hurt Mommy's little baby. It puts the lotion in the basket. I'd like to get the liposuction that I saw on TV.
Okay.
Can you make me look more like a woman?
Well, we'll have to see you first, and then upon looking at you, we can tell you that when we see you.
Should I wear my skin suit made of body parts, Mommy?
If you'd like to.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Would you like to make an appointment?
Yes.
Okay. There is a $100 consultation fee.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
My name is Buffalo Bill.
Okay, let me get a little
Mommy.
information from you, okay? Just one moment.
It
right?
puts the lotion in the basket.
I understand.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Do you want to come in for a consultation for
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Okay. Would you like to make an appointment, or do you want to call me back? Or?
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I understand.
I've got my skin suit nipple necklace.
Bill.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I understand that. Would you like to
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Would you like to make an appointment?
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Okay, I will talk to you another time, okay?
It puts the lotion in the basket. Hello?
The Dow's down almost 200 points. Don't panic yet, though. Don't jump.
Puts the lotion in the basket.
It mixes it all up.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
It puts them both together.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
When the eyeball falls out,
it puts the lotion in the basket.
Then it has to hose it down.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
It's what I have to get.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Need to rub it on my breast.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I have to dry clean my skin suit.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I said, Doctor. I switch my BP in my legs. I said, Doctor. I like to dance around his waist. And Mommy, are the lambs quiet today? I said, Mommy, I want to look more like a woman.
My name is Buffalo Bill. It puts the lotion in the basket.
It makes it for my skin.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I hold my PP in.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
How much does it cost?
It puts the lotion in the basket. I've got my skin suit nipple necklace.
You fairy.
Dow is down 187. Don't panic yet, okay? It's still, I mean, if you have some stock, it's still worth a couple of cents. And, of course, if you had any cents, you wouldn't have it. So somebody, Harry, emails me the picture of the container. Breyer's Rocky Road Carb Smart. And they advertise it as 4 grams of net carbs per serving. A serving, though, is probably the size of your thumb. I mean, what is a serving?
It probably should say it on there.
Well, but it's just got a picture of the carton.
A pint is usually 4 servings.
No, this is not a pint. This is a half gallon.
Ooh. Then maybe 16 servings?
Yeah. So that wouldn't be so bad. So that would mean 64 grams of carbs for the whole half gallon. What kind of a pig eats a half gallon of ice cream besides?
Oh, God.
I've done it. I'm not doing it now, but.
Wow.
What? You couldn't eat a half gallon of ice cream?
I've never eaten a half gallon of ice cream at one sitting.
Why not? That's because you don't nuke it. You don't nuke it.
Maybe that's why.
If you get it soft and mushy enough, you could almost put a straw in it and drink it.
You just have like a milkshake?
That's right. You shake it.
And the milk too?
And if you eat enough of it, then you'll have the shakes. Believe me, and then you'll hit the ground, and then they'll say, oh, gee, he sure enjoyed that last meal. He died with a smile on his puss. Rob says, did you ever do a poll on which South Florida or entire state of Florida politician do you detest the most? Rob in Lauderdale? No, we did not do that. Right? Maybe we did. We won't. Is that worth doing? I mean, who cares about South Florida politicians, huh?
Not
Except
really.
Miss Foley.
You fairy.
And your governor, Limperist Christ.
Tampa
Is there
guy.
anybody... What?
He's a Tampa guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's...
gay.
But I'm sure you knew that.
That was the word.
Now, whatever happened to that wedding that was supposed to take place? Now he didn't get the VP. Oh, there's Henry Waxman with the pig nose on CNN. Dow is down over 200 now. 205.60. Oh, 200. Back to an even 200. 97.60. Boy, that's pretty weak. I'd like to get a hold of that guy. The S&P is up, Neil, that guy, and everybody could strangle his ass. Take a cord, a sash, and just wrap it around his neck as tight as possible and play like tractor pull. Tie one into like in The Hitcher. One into a Mack truck and the other into a tractor. 770 on Fat Chris's pull. You're not going to make no 900. 850 would be swell.
I think that's what we were shooting for with 850.
Yeah, that's what I said. And then you said, oh, how about 900? How about 4,000?
Well, I said, how about 500? So, you know, we hit mine. I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's because you don't think anybody's listening to this show.
What are you talking about?
You want the callers. I know it. You're not fooling me.
Everybody's listening to this show.
You want the damn callers.
No, I don't.
I bet your fat-ass Jolly Joe is listening. Doesn't he always tell you how much he listens to the show every day and loves it?
Well, it's usually on when I walk by his room, so his office.
What's on? This show?
The radio station, yes.
No, I'm not talking about the radio station. I'm talking about this show, not the sports nerd.
When
crap.
I walk by and, while we're on the air, he's listening to the radio.
Wow. Got it up real loud, does he?
Mm-hmm.
Is he impaling himself with sharp objects? We can only hope and pray.
No, many times I've gone by there and I've heard him laughing, so.
You heard him laughing? Was he going, ho, 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 that's funny, Neil, ho, ho, ho. Was he doing like that?
Not quite that way, no.
No. Oh, Brad Richards, by the way, I made a mistake, is with the Dallas Stars. I just find it incongruous that, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to fit with that team, with the whole image of that team. It's such a boring team. I think Benoit Hogue, he was more like the Dallas Stars. I know they got Mike Modano, but nevertheless, the rest of them are like, it's a boring, dull team. You know what I mean, Chris? I mean,
yeah, and Modano is getting old, too.
Oh, yeah, he's got to be 100. I forgot Flea's name there for just a second. But we get so many guest fillers in here because Georgia misses so much damn work. Brad Richards is in Dallas playing with the Stars. Now that Stewie Barnes retired. Those are the days, baby. Stu Barnes and Billy Lindsay, and those were the days. The geezer, the racist bastard, the geezer. Mark Fitzpatrick, who used to beat his wife. Guys like that.
I used to be pretty good friends with Chris Gratton.
No, that's recent.
Yeah.
Talk about a bust. You used to be good friends with Chris Gratton?
Yeah, we used to hang out when he played for the Lightning.
You ever see him naked?
No, I can't say that I have.
Oh. What about Brad Richards? Boy, I sure like to see him naked. He is one hell of a good-looking kid, Brad Richards. And a good player, too. Damn good player. He's no Alexei Ponikarovsky, but then again, who is? Here's a long, long email. Now, it's too bad George isn't here because he would vomit. From Mr. Radio. I'll save it for after the top of the hour. Mr. Radio. Oh, his middle name is...
I have no life.
Mm-hmm. I think he might be the original.
I have no life.
Eddie in Miami says, here's a poll suggestion. Oh, they're picking on the Big O so bad today.
Rock solid.
I'm almost feeling sorry for him.
No.
No? Started with Flea just ripping him a merciless ass this morning, even before the show.
Yes.
And then Hank, Saturday night at dinner at Woodbine, just ripped him an ass. How could he be on? How could they put him on twice a day and in the afternoon when people are awake? Hank just ripped you an ass, Orlando. I'm sure he's oblivious, though, because he's got a gigantic ego. Doesn't he, Chris?
Yes.
That's what I heard.
What?
That's what I've heard.
Are you jumping on the bandwagon now?
I'm just telling you.
Then I'm going to get the blame if his show fails.
You always get the blame.
Yeah. First it was Mo. Well, we know you and Mo, and then Geldy. Well, you talk about that squeaky voice. Yeah, I invented it. That's right.
We all know you, Submarine Mo.
I torpedoed the shows, and then of course Jerks. I mean, that goes without saying.
Very good guy.
And now the Big O, he'll lay a gigantic egg, and I'll get blamed for it. Eddie says, here's a poll suggestion. Who sucks the most, Jason Jackson or the Big O? They're both pathetic. I listen to you religiously. I'm a sports fan, love the Mad Dog, but immediately log off the internet when his voice comes on. I guess Joe Bell hasn't realized, meaning the Big O, hasn't realized that not just the content that's important, but the host needs to be entertaining. Right now, Joe Bell is 4 for 4. The Kenny and Blow morning show was an abortion. The Jason Jackson show was unlistenable. The Big Zero is a horrible replacement, and DA is terminal and also has a share in the book. Now, a week from tomorrow, the book is coming out. A week from a Friday. Can you handle it, Flea? Are they going to be all gathered around and all whipped up into the summer book? Summer book is small potatoes, right?
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but it's going to be bad, I think.
777 is what we have on our poll. 770.
WABC!
77. Boy, those were the days, man. Long gone. Can't live in the past.
Biggest names.
The best.
Those were the days.
Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
The biggest names, the best talent.
Are you sure?
You're listening to Sports Radio 560 WQAM. Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
I am Boris Badenov. Since Fearless Leader has won, Natasha and I no longer have to look for a moose and squirrel. Instead, we listen to the Neil Rogers Fair and Balanced 1 to 2 hour.
Tonight, it's a new Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Tonight on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? The mother of all contestants.
Our family has the same ups and downs as any other, the same challenges and the same joys. Sometimes even the greatest joys bring challenge.
The first ever westbound Pony Express delivery started in Missouri and ended in what U.S. state?
The great state of Alaska.
Not smarter than a fifth grader. Which of the following is a country in Africa? Albania, Argentina, Algeria.
Canada, Mexico, and then, that trip that was a trip of a lifetime. And we've got to keep an eye on Russia.
No. Not smarter than a fifth grader.
They're our next door neighbors. And you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
I am so sorry. Not smarter than a fifth grader.
101 at 560 WQAM. It's our gigantic 1 to 2 hour. It's the big lead-in.
Rock solid.
For the Big O. The big.
Oh!
Right? Isn't that what this hour is? Uh-huh. George is out sick today. We got Flea sitting in. Flea will be back on Friday, whether he likes it or not. Now, what's the story? You going to show up Friday or not?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Well, why did you make such a big timus about it before? Oh, I don't know if I have to make some arrangements. Like what? What could you possibly be doing? I mean, you're a promotions director. We don't do any promotions.
Well, I had a lunch today that I moved to Friday so I could fill in today, so I'll just have to cancel lunch on Friday and push it to next week.
You had lunch with whom?
These people from the Allison Group, which does our artwork.
Artwork for what?
When we do ads and POP, like when we do Budweiser, flyaways, and stuff like that.
When are you going to do a flyaway for Jolly Joe?
Where do you want to go? Where do you want to send them?
Out the window. Oh, and here's an email from Joe. This is the fake Joe Bell. Neil, this is Joe. I'm over at the ticket having lunch with George. Ho, ho, ho. He tells me he wants to do a sports show about roller skating. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, we're starting to get emails from there. Oh, here's another one from the fake Jolly Joe. Ho, ho, I'm always listening. Love your show. Can you put Claude Pepper on your poll? Ho, 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 and my poll, too. Very good, very good. The fake... Oh, here's another one. Neil, this is Joe Bell. I don't see Sizzler on the list, and also tell George we start drug testing Wednesday. Ho, 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 ho. Well, wouldn't that be something if they did drug testing at this station?
Yeah, that wouldn't be too good, I don't think.
Not a cool move, I'll tell you. Also, Dave in New York City, who's hockey obsessive, says they signed Sean Avery to make that team interesting, meaning Dallas. They got Brad Richards and Sean Avery. Sean Avery is one of the craziest people who ever put on a pair of skates. He's a crazy person. Out of control, lunatic. He gets into fights before the game even starts. When they come out for the pregame skate, he's getting into fights already. You know Sean Avery? Flea?
A little bit. Enforcer, right?
An idiot, not an enforcer. A crazy person. Not an enforcer.
For Van Ryn, through the middle for Ponikarovsky to Antropov. Centering pass for Ponikarovsky. That got knocked away.
Oh, that's that horrendous. What the hell's his name? Bob.
Knocked down by Mike Van Ryn.
Oh, from TSN. Just the world's worst. The world's worst.
That's what they were doing. They were going there to get on a cruise from there to go see a lot of places.
Oh, my God. The stuff, the swill that they have on the air, man. NHL Network talking. They're not even showing a game. They're talking hockey.
Coach just acts like a jerk sometimes.
The Eagles soared for much of the game.
Floats it for the end zone. Touchdown, Jimmy Joe!
And kept putting Joe Montana on the ground.
Reggie White in that game was terror.
He's sacked! Reggie White!
Not only were there 8 sacks on Montana, but they were hitting him constantly. After he'd throw the ball, he got hit.
The big thing was they were shutting our running game down.
They're not even pretending to go with the running game.
So it's tough when they know we're going to throw the ball every time. They've got their ears pinned back and they're coming rushing.
Oh, there's Jolly Joe Montana. Oh, boy. Don't look a day over 100. You know what? Do you want to hear the first race from Fort Erie?
Not really.
No.
What do you say, Flea? Fort Erie Racetrack. I've been there about 100 years ago.
I have never been there.
Why not? You're a racetrack kind of a guy. You're a Gulfstream guy.
Is it near Lake Erie?
Yeah. It's near closer to Lake on. Well, yeah, it's kind of like between the two of them.
On street-wise, she's now the favorite. All set.
Got a big field of 6 here now at Fort Erie. They're off.
They're off. Perfect start. Nessun Dorma with that stretch.
Now, did you ever go to Tampa Bay Downs? Now, there are some real horses ass racing for you. And that announcer there, he calls every race like it was the freaking Kentucky Derby. Screaming and yelling and puking and dramatic and, oh, my God. Talk about a drama queen. You ever been there?
Yeah, a couple times. It's not great.
What do you mean by that?
It's kind of a hole a little bit. It's not that nice.
I've never been there.
Gulfstream's a lot nicer.
I'm sure of that. Well, what a compliment that is. Gulfstream is a lot nicer than Tampa Bay Downs. That's like saying that Gulfstream is a lot nicer than Suffolk Downs in Boston, too. Talk about a dump. God.
How does it compare to Woodbine?
Woodbine's fabulous. I just asked the Humper next time you see Hank. He was very impressed. I don't know if it was his first time there.
I'll swing by the Cheetah tonight and I'll ask him.
Why, is Hank still hanging out at the Cheetah?
He's pretty much a regular.
Is he?
Oh, you know what I just remembered?
What's that?
While I was in my meeting yesterday, what's his name? Josh got a call from Hank.
Yeah.
But he said he'll take it later because he was in a meeting. But Hank was calling to talk to Josh for something. I don't know.
Yeah, because he's got some Friday Night Football radio show. It's not what you think. See, right away you're assuming, oh, the Humper wants to get back on.
I wasn't assuming anything. I was just telling you.
Yeah.
He got a call.
Well, he already told me about that. He's got some Friday Night Football show with some goofball that he works with, and they want to get it on see if QM wants to pick it up. That's all.
It's with the guy from the Dolphin Digest.
Yeah, Tom Curtis. Is that his name?
That's it.
Yeah, they're pretty tight, Humper and Tom. So, and wouldn't be surprised if, what's his name gets in on the show, too. Jerk Street. He's everywhere. I mean, if anybody's picking ball games, man, the Jerkmeister's got to be there. Maybe Jacksmeister will be there, too. Jackson Jerks. Anyway, Mr. Radio says, how's it going? I've been listening to you since the late 80s, last year on WINZ, and mornings on Zeta with Captain Dave and the Bird. I really love the early WIOD days. Who would you say did you have the most fun working with? What do you remember about Rick Weaver, Sonny Hirsch, Hank Goldberg, Mike Ranieri, Henry Barrow, Scott Chapin, Mitch Lewis, Steve Kane, Boy Gary, Paul Lyle? I never knew Paul Lyle. He was at IOD long before I was. The Dean, Alan Burke. Never worked with him either. But he turned out to be a really nice guy. Rick and Suds and Phil Hendry days were a lot of fun as well. The Birds laugh track added a lot to the show, but it was a little annoying when he'd put his head down or read the paper when you were talking sports. It always made me laugh when you'd lay into Joe Zagacki. But he seems like a nice guy, never stole a freight train. You know something, Mr. O'Brien, Mr. Radio? There's a lot of nice guys. That doesn't mean they belong on the air. In fact, Flea was ripping him an ass before the show today, too, Joe Zagacki. He said in his life he has never heard anything so grotesque and so embarrassing as those Hurricane games. Isn't that what you said?
I don't think those were my exact words.
Pretty close. I think you said...
Joe Zagacki sucks, okay?
Isn't that what you said?
I don't think those were my
words. And then
words
when you
either.
called him penis face, I just lost it. I have to say that you and Howard Stern are the best radio hosts I've ever listened to, says Mr. Radio. I still remember a lot of your old sponsors, Arnold's Royal Castle, Roses, I have no idea what Roses is, Char Hut, The Melting Pot, etc. Whatever happened to EJ, Jim Schuyler, Stan Major, etc.? Was Davy Gravy Line the voice of WINZ then? Kicking ass with 50,000 watts, whatever. I think I remember the Tea Lady as well, over the WINZ jingle. Anyway, thanks for the memories. I'd love to hear you end up on Sirius XM someday. Not going to happen, Mr. Radio. Not going to happen. My agent is a dullard.
Hey, you can buy their stock today for 50 cents a share.
Really? I'll take $3 worth. That maniac, Scott Farrell, gave you a shout-out the other night. He was talking about the stations he's worked on, mentioned you and Phil Hendry as being some of the best talent he's ever worked with. Do you remember that talent coach that came in with Ron and Ron? Yeah, I can't think of his name, with the white hair. George would remember it. Real loser. After you called Ron Diaz a wooden Indian, he got all bent out of shape. That was right before we left and Sonny Fox took over. Well, I'm becoming ponderous, so see ya, buddy. A Jazz McKay reference, says Brian, a.k.a. Mr. Radio.
I have no line.
Right, we know that. Wow. What a suck job that was, huh? Now, Brandon's got a couple... He doesn't understand that when we get to the 1 to 2 hour, I'm way too tired to be checking out links here. You know what I mean? Oh, Roby Young, a picture from 100 years ago. That was worth looking at. Former WCKRF-AM, which then became IOD, and QAM-AM disc jockey Roby Young, the big kahuna. The big tuna, and also gay, but dead. And here's a picture of the WFUN mobile. Promotional car on Flagler Street during United Way benefit. Well, what year was that? 1976. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, I see. There's a link to the last day of WFUN, January 6, 1976, by reporter Bob Mayer of WTVJ. There's a link to it. Wow. And this picture looks like it's from 100 years ago. Do we have that WFUN jingle? WFUN.
WFUN. Saturday night. Another hour of music
The biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sports leader.
Jim Mandich, I f***ed him. Oh!
You people are so damn bad that not only you have to be bought out by that bandit Paxson, but if I wanted to buy some time on your station, I couldn't. You don't have real people at 75. You don't have it on your regular number. I was asked to be a guest on one of your talk shows, or I think it's your AM, the WIOD. They won't even call me back to tell me what the name of the show is. I was on your station in 1964. I'm a sort of prominent guy in Miami. I buy time, and I influence people who buy time. And if you people can't get it together to be a better radio station, and if you were a Conrad station or an EBS station, I suggest that you take your damn frequency, which my grandmother's friend Jessie J put on the air in 1926, and you turn the damn thing off and get out of the business. You people ought to be ashamed of yourselves. My name is Roby Young, and the telephone number is a motel in Miami, room 13. You people ought to be ashamed. You shouldn't even be running that facility. And I used to be the boss of the damn thing in I ran the damn thing, and I fired your ass. You are terrible. You have no credibility in radio. Now, damn it all to piss, before I get on the phone to Paxson, you get on the phone to me, and you get me to take this back, or I'm going to tell them a lot more. If the sale goes through. But it will, because you're doomed anyhow. Good luck to you.
Yeah, good luck to you, Roby. You're dead. He's dead. Hey, Roby.
You fairy.
I could tell you some wild stories about Roby, but I won't. 116 at 560. I never met him, though. several emails. I'll tell you one thing. The emails today have been exactly what, of course, that's because George isn't here. When George is here, they just, they're intimidated. You think that's it? The Dow's down 188. It's kind of leveling off there. The nice, even, nasty number. Oh, there's Ben Bernanke who says, bada beep, bada boop.
In either case, all depositors and creditors of Wachovia are fully protected.
Thank God.
And depositors and other customers will experience no interruption in banking services. By potentially restricting future flows of credit to households and businesses, the developments in financial markets pose a significant threat to economic growth. The Treasury and the Fed have taken a range of actions to address the very tight funding.
Oh, the Dow's now only down 157. See, it's making a little comeback because Ben is going, beep, 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 a little double talk, All these financial experts, that's basically what they give you. It's the new economy against the old economy. Just sit tight. This stuff comes back so fast. Just sit tight, yeah. Just sit tight on the bowl and empty your innards. $7.99 on Fat Chris's poll. Boy, sure, I hate to think of him emptying his innards. 801 now. What's our goal, 850?
Yeah, something like that.
You got a shot. You got a shot, Mr. Hotshot.
To be special?
No. That's Jimmy Johnson. And, of course, now they're all saying, oh, the Dolphins, we're talking Super Bowl because, yeah, they're special. I heard Joe, who was it? Was it Joe this morning or somebody? Raving and just going on and on about the great game plan and the running game and the this and the that. Oh, jeez. On and on and on. Last time I checked, they were 2-2. Am I right?
Correct.
What's the big Timus with that?
Hey, that's one more win than they had last year.
That's correct. Than they had all last season, right. Remember Carole King and Good Seasons?
No.
Michael says, Neil God, according to the in-trade betting line, Obama is a 69.6 favorite to win. I'm beginning to think you are right, that it's not close enough to steal anymore. I sure hope not. They're projecting a 353 to 185 landslide in the Electoral College. Oh, yeah.